You up to date with the games in the Scottish Premiership this evening as well. Bruno Fernandes in his red Manchester United shirt, captain's armband wrapped around his left bicep, just encouraging the troops. Manchester United then, Tom Heaton in goal. Second appearance for the club, second appearance of the season. Started in the quarter-final win against Charlton. David De Gea is on the bench. Back four of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Rafael Varane, Lisandro Martinez and Luke Shaw is back, having missed the last couple of games through illness. He replaces Tyrell Malacia. Christian Eriksen out injured, is going to be out for a while. No Marcel Sabitzer as yet, signed yesterday. So it's the Brazilian pairing who both scored against Reading in the FA Cup last weekend. Casemiro and Fred. I think Casemiro's presence in the team tells you everything you need to know about how seriously Manchester United are taking this second leg. Antony, Bruno Fernandes and the young Argentine Alejandro Garnacho, with the big Dutchman Wout Weghorst standing tall in the middle of the pitch. Away to our right as we look at it, Marcus Rashford, one of those on the bench, so is Jadon Sancho and so is Anthony Martial. Nottingham Forest team for you in just a second. We are underway. Luke Shaw's on the ball. Manchester United attacking towards the east stand, away to our right, so playing away from the Stretford end in the first half. Early possession for them. They lead the tie 3-0 on aggregate, and Steve Cooper, the Nottingham Forest manager, having sent the troops out, is right out there on the edge of the pitch at the moment, just watching the opening seconds of this game. The ball is coming back to Tom Heaton, experienced goalkeeper, of course, former England international, now 36 years old, back at his first club, standing well outside his penalty area. Varane plays into the feet of Bruno Fernandes. The Frenchman gets it back just over the halfway line, floats a ball down the right. Wan-Bissaka chases, and it's headed out of play by Scott McKenna for an early Manchester United throw. He was about to get the thoughts of James there, but they've taken it quickly. Wan-Bissaka was tripped, he picked himself up, and our referee Peter Banks quite happy to play the advantage. Lisandro Martinez in possession inside his own half. Early thoughts then, James, on set-up as it were?
Yeah, well, I mean, we spoke about Jesse Lingard and, you know, him missing the game, but what that also does is, you know, the preparation. Emmanuel Dennis, I don't know how much he was paying attention in the team meetings and the shape, but I'm looking at Aaron Wan-Bissaka and he's playing almost in midfield and trying to get off the back of Emmanuel Dennis, so I think that'll be interesting to see how that develops, whether he spots it and Wan-Bissaka continues to make those runs, because he's stepping into midfield almost playing as a number 6 and making runs beyond Weghorst into the back line. So it'll be interesting to see if Dennis picks up on that, or if Steve Cooper makes any kind of adjustment, or they're happy just to let that happen and see how it develops.
Rafael Varane fouled on the halfway line. Rain is starting to fall at Old Trafford. You're not suggesting, James, you didn't listen in team meetings as a player, are you? Heaven forbid.
Well, sometimes you don't know where you're going to come on, so it's impossible to know everyone's job. Plus, it's hard when you're, you know, trying to pick your petty lip up for not being in the starting lineup. So on a couple of occasions maybe I didn't listen as much as I should, but you never expect that you're going to be, you know, thrown in before the game starts. Yeah, when you come on as a sub, but you get some sort of instruction.
Wan-Bissaka plays a little 1-2 with Antony. Antony went for the old roulette spin there, the 360-degree turn that he got a bit of stick for earlier in the season. Rain falling slightly more heavily now. I will give you the Nottingham Forest lineup in just a second, but if you have just tuned in, James has mentioned it there, Jesse Lingard was in the starting lineup, has got injured in the warm-up, so Emmanuel Dennis is starting wide on the left-hand side for Nottingham Forest, who barely had a kick of the ball as yet. Lisandro Martinez driving a ball through the middle, but neither Weghorst or Bruno Fernandes could get onto it. So it's in the arms of Wayne Hennessy, who's now got Keylor Navas, a 3-times Champions League winner for competition for the Nottingham Forest goalkeeping spot, with Dean Henderson still out injured with a thigh injury. Couldn't have played tonight against his parent club anyway. Free kick for Nottingham Forest inside their half. Wayne Hennessy in goal. Nico Williams, former Liverpool man, so I'm sure he'll be warmly welcomed here at Old Trafford. Willy Bolly, Scott McKenna and Renan Lodi as the left back. Remo Freuler, the Swiss international, alongside Orel Mangala and Gustavo Scarpa, the Brazilian. Brennan Johnson, Emmanuel Dennis playing either side of Sam Surridge. Casemiro has taken a whack to the chops early on and is just recovering from that, accidentally from Gustavo Scarpa. Brazilian elbow into Brazilian teeth. No hard feelings. We're back underway. And there he is, Casemiro, doing his job, winning the ball for Manchester United on the edge of their penalty area. So 3-0 on aggregate to Manchester United, and they have started well, as we expected they would.
Yeah, they have. They've started with a real purpose, intensity about the play, whether that's, you know, to pass the ball and get the ball forward, players making forward runs, Fernandes and Weghorst, you know, off of that pass from midfield, Wan-Bissaka's made them, but also when Nottingham Forest have the ball, they're going and hounding them, they're putting them under pressure, so they're letting them know that they're taking a night off tonight. They want to go try and get this game wrapped up as early as they can.
Have you seen Garnacho play live yet, James?
Not yet, I haven't had the pleasure, so
he's
looking
good.
Forward to it.
Yeah, saw him just before the World Cup score a late winner against Fulham. This is the first start since the quarter-final against Charlton for him. Marcus Rashford sitting on the bench. I don't think Nottingham Forest will be too disappointed about that, considering he's scored in both of the recent Manchester United 3-0 wins against them, one in the Premier League and one last week in the first leg. Anthony plays back to Wan-Bissaka. Rain is just easing off. Varane strokes a pass out to Anthony on the right. Quick ball forward to Wan-Bissaka. As James was saying, sort of high up and tucked in a little bit from the right-hand side. Now Anthony in the inside right channel, sees a gap, darts into it, just slightly overruns it. Tackled by Mangala. Good sliding challenge by Casemiro, and then Emmanuel Dennis is almost away down the left. And he actually let that ball run across him because he wanted to take it away down the left-hand touchline. I'm not sure he quite knew where he was, and it's gone straight out for a throw.
No, it did slip off the surface, but he goes to try and initially control it with outside his right foot. Then he lets it across. He needs to get his body shape into position to take that with the left foot into his path. But I'll maybe give him the fact that it skidded off the surface pretty fast to him, that he didn't really have time to adjust his feet.
Luke Shaw bouncing along, jaunty stride inside his own half. Just rolls a pass back into Lisandro Martinez, who very confidently comes trotting forward. Sam Surridge not interested in closing down yet. Now he comes running across to Varane, but Varane quickly moves it on to Wan-Bissaka wide on the right. Dummies across and cuts in field. Fernandes fizzes a first-time ball to Anthony, who plays it back to Fernandes. There's the layback. Wan-Bissaka onside to Fernandes, looking for the cut back into the penalty area. He's going to get another go here. The cross has bounced back to him. He's being forced out towards the corner flag here. He's got the trick though, the little back heel. Scarpa read it. Fernandes in with the tackle. Anthony wants to let that bounce. He gets caught up in a Nottingham Forest sandwich, and the ball I think also got squished in the sandwich because Anthony's saying that's been deflated. So that ended up between Orel Mangala and Emmanuel Dennis, and the ball's gone flat.
I think it was a challenge from Bruno Fernandes. I wonder if it, just that timing and it's come off the stud. It's very rare you see it where the ball busts, but Nottingham Forest will be quite happy with that because it's been some pace of the game, and Bruno Fernandes that a couple of minutes ago had a great chance to just fire that beyond that defensive line. Weghorst coming in at the back post, he goes for the cutback, but it was good play from Man United down the right hand side.
James McFadden with us on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Wan-Bissaka loses it wide on the right in an attacking position for Manchester United. Emmanuel Dennis has got to be careful here, just holding off the challenge of Anthony. Back it comes to Lodi. Lodi swings a right leg at it and clears. Surridge does well to hold off Varane. Lodi was caught late, so that will be a free kick for Nottingham Forest in their left back position. Hearts 0, Rangers 1. Morelos with the early goal in that game. Gavin Wallace is watching that one for us this evening. He'll keep us updated. Motherwell 0, St Johnstone 1. Motherwell, of course, one of James's former clubs. Those are the early goals in the Scottish Premiership this evening. This is Manchester United 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Second leg of the League Cup semi-final. Winners against Newcastle United. Back in a major domestic cup final. Newcastle fans can't wait. 3 weeks on Sunday. Full commentary, of course, here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Hennessy's cleared the ball long. It's been headed out of play for a Nottingham Forest throw. Wide on the left. Lodi goes long down the left-hand touchline. Varane wins the header, and Nottingham Forest have made about 20 yards down the left. 8.5 minutes played. Manchester United 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Scarpa with a little control, flicks it over the head of Anthony, can't keep it in play. Throw in for Manchester United. Good noise ringing around Old Trafford, as you can probably hear. Manchester United trying to reach a first domestic cup final since the FA Cup final defeat to Chelsea in 2018. Last trophies won, of course, season before that under Jose Mourinho, the League Cup and the Europa League, but it's been 5 seasons without one for United since then. Scarpa's ball forward on the half volley, chased back by Martinez. It wouldn't quite fall for him as he wanted. Brennan Johnson putting the pressure on. Martinez deals with it well, plays it out to Shaw on the left hand side, and Shaw gets motoring away. Then the little layoff to Garnacho into midfield. Fernandez on the ball now, wide it goes to Shaw. First time pass into the tricky feet of Garnacho. He just runs into a brick wall there. Willy Bolly that was on the edge of the penalty area. Garnacho goes down, nothing wrong with the challenge. And Forest play the ball up the right. I think that's going to stay in play deep in Manchester United territory. Martinez is there, and back he comes to Tom Heaton. James.
That was great play from Man United down the left hand side. Luke Shaw bursting forward, and it's nice interplay between Fernandez and Garnacho, and when he steps inside it looks like he's just going to play a bounce pass off of Weghorst. He tries to fake that and chop back onto his left foot, and Bolly's there standing in his way. He runs into trouble. I've been up that alley a few times before in my career.
Here's Martinez for Manchester United across the halfway line. Garnacho in a lot of space again on the left. Lovely little shoulder shimmy to try and lose Freuler. Freuler back at him. Back it comes to Shaw. Shaw's got two men on him under pressure. Wins a throw for Manchester United.
Just on the point of how long it's been since Man United have won a trophy. Before this game we're speaking as though Man United are going to become complacent. They want to win trophies. Eric Ten Hag's trying to build something. He's building something. Nothing better than winning trophies to create that mindset and get that habit of winning.
Great run by Emmanuel Dennis down the left. Good tracking back from Anthony. Tried to make the tackle. Still Dennis. Edge of the Manchester United penalty area. Can Nottingham Forest find the first goal? Mangala across to the right to Scarpa. Difficult pass to control for Surridge. Did well. That came at him at a real pace. Back to Williams. Williams plays it a 1-2 with Freuler. Wide it goes again to Scarpa, who's found a bit of space on the right. Moves away from Garnacho. Switch pass to Williams. Cross comes into the near post. Martinez volleys it away. Then Luke Shaw stabs at the ball with his left foot. Risky pass from Bruno Fernandes. Manchester United eventually get it clear. Fred threw his body in the way, and it's a United throw on the halfway line on the left.
Much better from Forest. First time I've seen him going forward. Dennis down the left hand side. It looked like he had Wan-Bissaka beaten, but he should know better because he's such a good 1v1 defender. He manages to get back in, forcing Dennis to play it square, and they do manage to keep the ball, but Man United defend it really well, and not only that, they turn defence into attack pretty quickly, forcing the throw in just inside the Nottingham Forest half.
Early cross from Wan-Bissaka, not seen much from Weghorst yet. He challenges for that ball. It's been hoisted high in the air by Scott McKenna. It bounces about 10 yards outside the Nottingham Forest penalty area. Congested midfield in that half, but Casemiro takes control calmly, plays the pass back to Martinez. Forwards it goes to Bruno Fernandes, picking this up slightly deeper, lays it off to Garnacho, back to Shaw, crossing towards Weghorst, bouncing ball headed away by Lodi. Mangala with a second header. Here's Garnacho again on the left, gets a shout from Luke Shaw, who doesn't get the cross right, slices it behind. That'll be a goal kick for Nottingham Forest.
Again, good play from Man United. When the ball gets laid back to Luke Shaw, I think Weghorst expects him to take a touch, and he's trying to find that space in the middle. I think it's Scott McKenna that's picking him up to then make his move, but he doesn't. He plays it in first time. It's well defended in the end, but maybe that little bit of surprise is done by Weghorst in the initial cross.
12.5 minutes played. Marcel Sabitzer just being picked up on the cameras, not sitting too far away from us on our left as the ball is brought forward by Lodi. He's Manchester United's player through until the end of the season on loan from Bayern Munich. He's wrapped up warm, and he's watching his team here having some defending to do. Emmanuel Dennis darts in between Wan-Bissaka and Weghorst. He's fouled. Free kick Nottingham Forest, and first goal of the night at Celtic Park, ready for Scythe.
And you won't be surprised if I tell you that Celtic have had 87% of the possession, that they have finally made the breakthrough. Greg Taylor overlapping to help his forwards on the edge of the box, fractionally onside, left boot shot into the corner of the net. So it's Celtic 1, Libby 0, half an hour gone.
Celtic starting the night with a 9-point lead at the top of the table. Rangers 1 up at Hearts. Celtic leading Livingston by a goal to 0. You weren't surprised by that?
No,
figure.
No, the possession stats are so high for Celtic normally, and Greg Taylor, I think he scored earlier in the season against Livingston as well, so he must enjoy playing against them.
There you go. Bonus stat from James McFadden as the Forest free kick comes in. Good delivery from Scarpa, headed away by Manchester United. Mangala gives Scarpa another chance to get a ball in again, whipped in with pace, headed away on the edge of the 6-yard box by Varane. Nottingham Forest win a throw. Good attacking threat from them in the early stages. trailing 3-0 on aggregate. The late goal from Bruno Fernandes, the real killer at the end of last week's tie. Marcus Rashford, of course, got the scoring started with that unbelievable run from inside his own half, just unstoppable before smashing the ball home. Erik ten Hag is out to the edge of the pitch for the first time this evening, so he's obviously spotted something he wants to have a little tinkle with, possibly.
Yeah, well, Nottingham Forest have now had a couple of dangerous attacks. Yes, Man United have defended them well, but they want to limit them because it's very early in the game. And we spoke about how can Nottingham Forest get anything out of this game. Well, it'll be getting the first goal, and if they get it early, then that's the bonus. So it'll be just making sure that they're switched on. But I have to say, when the balls come into the box, Man United have defended it brilliantly.
Nico Williams trying to get in ahead of Garnacho. He's gone down, hurt Williams. No foul. Garnacho's allowed to continue into the Nottingham Forest half. Good challenge on him by Freuler. The clearance only as far as Casemiro. Fernandes cheekily curls a pass with the outside of his right foot to Shaw, and then Bolly's clearance comes off Shaw, and Nottingham Forest get the goal kick. Bruno Fernandes is in the mood, I sense, this evening.
What a pass that is. It's absolutely magnificent. The ball's rolled into him. He just flicks it with the outside of his boot straight into the path of Luke Shaw, who takes a heavy touch. But yeah, he certainly is in the mood, and that pass was exquisite.
It's one of the big questions, James, as I'm sure you'll know, for the fantasy football managers. Manchester United have a double game week coming up, game week 22. Do you get him in? Well, just on the early evidence of this evening's game, I would sense that might be a good shout. The Fantasy 606 podcast, which I do along with Chris Sutton and Statman Dave, there for you 9 o'clock tomorrow morning on the BBC Sounds app. The Football Daily podcast for you there as always, with all the reaction, debate and analysis to this game and all the big stories in the football world. Here's Scarpa. Scarpa's ball through to Surridge for Nottingham Forest. Can't find Dennis on the left-hand side. Intercepted by Varane. Fernandes deep inside his own half. Up to Weghorst. Clever layoff from Weghorst. He was caught, but got it back to Fred. Good ball forward from Fred as well. Garnacho, one-on-one with Williams. Beats Bolly. Goes outside Williams. Then takes a tumble inside the penalty area. The referee's got a great view of that, and he points and says that is a goal kick.
It's almost magnificent from Garnacho. Again, the speed of the passing, the movement from Man United is absolutely magnificent down that left-hand side. When it comes to Garnacho in the box, he's twisting and turning. He does go down, but referee's in a brilliant position and points for the goal kick. I don't think there's enough in that for me.
Manchester United 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Ready for Forsyth has seen another goal at Celtic.
Another goal for Celtic, although Dias and Maeda gets the credit. I don't know how much he knew about it, because he was in this Livingston penalty area while they were frantically trying to clear, and the ball hit him on the head and went into the net, but he'll claim it, don't worry. Although at the moment I'm just wondering if we've got a VAR check, because Livingston have been told to hold on for a moment before they restart the game. So maybe some debate about it. Referee saying they can start the game, so it's 2-0.
Thank you, Roddy. 2-0 to Celtic against Livingston. Anthony's had a curling shot here. We've seen him stick those in the top corner before. Didn't quite get enough on it, and Wayne Hennessy makes the save to his right. Goal in League One this evening, the only game in League One. Bobby Thomas, after half an hour, has given Barnsley the lead away at Oxford. Barnsley starting the night in the playoff places, 7 points behind Derby and Bolton, just trying to stretch their lead on the teams closest to them, Peterborough, Wickham and Shrewsbury. They lead by a goal to nil. Fernandes, good vision, sees Garnacho heavily involved in the first 15 minutes here for Manchester United. Support on the outside from Shaw. Cross comes in. Mangala clears on the half volley. Martinez is going to leave this for Varane. Varane wasn't quite expecting that, but reacted quickly. Low pass to his right to Anthony. Onto his left foot. Plays back to Varane. Varane gets the point from Casemiro, and he in turn plays back to Lisandro Martinez. 7,500 Nottingham Forest fans you can hear in amongst the noise this evening at Old Trafford. We've played 18 minutes, 0-0 on the night, and Manchester United leading 3-0 from the first leg.
Well, before the game you were fearful that it was going to be one of those, dull, boring games where, one team thinks they've won already, the other team thinks they've got no chance. It hasn't been like that at all. It's been a great tempo to the match. Man United playing like the old cliche, it's 0-0 and they still have to win the game. Forest playing with belief that they can go and get that first goal and put Man United under pressure. It's been a brilliant start to the game.
Free kick then for Nottingham Forest inside their half. Freuler receives it from Bolly. It goes wide to Williams. Williams is closed down by Garnacho. So much competition now for places in this Manchester United first team, because obviously Marcus Rashford sitting on the bench. Garnacho has playing wide on that left-hand side and has started well. Casemiro straight up to Weghorst. Fernandes looking for Weghorst again. The pass just beyond him. Back to Hennessy, but that was played back to him. He can't pick that up. Played back to him by McKenna. Nottingham Forest knocking it around inside their own box, and Hennessy hurried into the clearance by the challenger Fernandes. Up it goes in the air. Header won by Martinez. Casemiro almost miscontrolled. I hesitate to say that. Maybe he meant to do that. He let it bounce, nods it back, and Manchester United have possession.
He's allowed to miscontrol one, isn't he? He's been absolutely sensational so far this season. And the pass again, you know, it looks simple, but it's fired in through bodies straight to the feet of Weghorst. The transition into attack for Man United is so quick that it's making it difficult for Forest to get up and close the gap and put pressure on them, because as soon as it comes into midfield, fired wide or fired into strikers' feet, making it extremely difficult for them.
BBC Radio 5 live at Old Trafford. James McFadden, former Scotland international, Everton Birmingham man, alongside. If you're on the move, remember you can always take us with you using the BBC Sounds app, as Varane goes low to his left, finds Luke Shaw in plenty of space, looks up, goes for a short pass into the edge of the box. Garnacho is beaten to that. Nottingham Forest might be able to bring it away. Fernandes is there to intercept. Scarpa blocks his pass. Fernandes steps in to win it back, and eventually it goes out for a throw-in to United just inside the Nottingham Forest half. Still 0-0 on the night, and still Manchester United leading 3-0 on aggregate. I do have one encouraging stat for the Forest fans, by the way. Gary Richardson, our friend and colleague at the BBC, sent me a message earlier on today talking about comebacks in this competition, and he tells me, as a young whippersnapper in the newsroom many years ago, back in 1980, he went to go and watch Graham Taylor's Watford, who were then in the second division. This was a second round League Cup tie. They'd lost the first game at the Dell 4-0 to Southampton, and they won the second game by 7 goals to 1 to knock Southampton out. So it is possible. I think Gary Richardson had said to his editor before he headed out of the door, I don't think you'll be hearing much from me this evening. How wrong he was. Here's Emmanuel Dennis on the left into the Manchester United penalty area, tries to fire across in with his left foot, battling hard to try and keep this ball. It was initially blocked. Fernandes really strong in the challenge. Dennis falls to the ground, and then he grabs the ball with his hands, and the free kick actually goes to Manchester United for the handball, even though Dennis is down holding his knee. Real desire from Bruno Fernandes in winning that ball for Manchester United. Goal at Tynecastle in the Scottish Premiership this evening. Gavin Wallace.
Hearts 0, Rangers 2. A corner all the way through to the back post was headed back across the 6-yard box, and Malik Tillman, he's clinical from 6 yards. Rangers 2 to the good at Edinburgh.
Did you enjoy the challenge from Bruno Fernandes there, James?
Yeah, I thought it was potentially a foul, and then there is a follow through from Anthony on the leg of Dennis as he's lying on the ground, just stands on his leg. Not for a minute suggesting it was deliberate, but definitely a sore one for Emmanuel Dennis. But I think he had a shout for a free kick. He tries to protect the ball, gets his leg across, and Bruno Fernandes comes through the back of him, and he goes to ground. I think that should have been a foul to Nottingham Forest.
Midway through the first half, Manchester United 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Erik ten Hag just waving the red shirts forward. They're in possession. Wan-Bissaka gets it from Varane. Wan-Bissaka, who started 9 of the 11 games for Manchester United since the resumption of the season after the World Cup. Diogo Dalot still out injured at the moment. Here's Fernandes playing back to Varane. Wan-Bissaka heading well forward in this attack in an inside right position. Varane has lofted the ball out with the diagonal to the left. Garnacho chests it down acrobatically, moves at speed down to the byline, sliding challenge on him, blocks the cross. There's Nico Williams. That's a corner for Manchester United. Garnacho's clearly been told, hasn't he, James, get the ball and just do your thing.
Well, why else would he be in the team? That's exactly what he's there for. I like his variety. You know, he's gone down the left hand side, he's cut inside, he's played the overlap for Luke Shaw, he's rolled one back for him to knock it in first time. Great variety for such a young player, and I can see, you know, already why he's been talked about so much. He's been a joy to watch. Yeah, it's not come off, but he's an exciting player, no doubt.
Kilmarnock 1, Dundee United 0 in the Scottish Premiership. Daniel Armstrong with the goal. Celtic 2-0 up, Rangers 2-0 up this evening in the title race. Corner for Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes was just about to start the run to take it, and the referee Peter Banks spotted a little bit of argy-bargy on the goal line behind Wayne Hennessy. Lissandro Martinez, the Manchester United man involved there. None of that, he's saying to Martinez and Mangala. He's made his point. VAR is in action for the game this evening. Michael Salisbury, the man at Stockley Park. Fernandez corner into the near post, flick on from Weghorst, and then a strange clearance from Emmanuel Dennis, sort of aimed at the corner flag, just got a foot on the ball. It's gone behind for another corner.
Yeah, take no chances, just clear the ball, although he did have time to maybe turn that into an attack. But I can understand why he's not willing to take the risk and turn blindly in the box.
Corner Manchester United, wind just gusting up. Action a little bit closer to us on this right flank for United as they attack in this first half. Shaw goes short along the byline to Bruno Fernandes, lays it back to Shaw, curling cross comes in, volleyed away by Bolly. Wan-Bissaka heads it forward, Garnacho sticks a left leg out, controls it, and then lofts a volleyed pass away to the left. Martinez plays back to Anthony. Anthony doesn't want to go backwards, he wants to go forwards. Freuler tackles him, throw in for United, which they take quickly, and Martinez back here to Wan-Bissaka.
I was here last season in a few occasions, and the difference in this side to last season is incredible. It really is. The pace, the energy, the purpose that they're playing with. It really is a totally different side to the one that we've seen here last season. And I know that the managers received a lot of plaudits, and to think they're nowhere near where they want to be.
Garnacho having a chance to run at McKenna. McKenna just got a foot on the ball, but Manchester United come again. Fred wide to Anthony, who's now on the left. Fred's cross into the far post. Lodi is there to head it away. Drops to Wan-Bissaka. Heads it to his left on the edge of the box. Can't find Anthony. Volley clearance. Surridge will chase it. Varane has it covered for Manchester United, then clips it on the half volley back to his goalkeeper Tom Heaton, who's had very little to do so far this evening. All in blue. Left-footed pass from him. Wide to Varane, hugging that right-hand touchline. Little 1-2 with Bissaka. And then Varane striding across the edge of his own penalty area is able to comfortably bring the ball away for Manchester United. Yes, last season it was a 6th place finish in the Premier League. It was a 4th round exit in the FA Cup. It was a 3rd round exit in the League Cup for Manchester United, and a last 16 exit in the Champions League. This season is promising very different things for them, and first and foremost the aim tonight is to get to Wembley. Weghorst plays it wide to the left. Fred can't return the pass, but he's won it back for Manchester United. He's midway inside the Nottingham Forest half. He slows it down and he plays back to Martinez. So 27 minutes played, still 0-0 on the night. Varane inside the centre circle, inside the Forest half, looking right and left. Low pass to his left to Martinez. Shaw's got a bit of space to work with on the left. Bruno Fernandes wants this whipped in. He's got that arm out. Get it in here. Garnacho goes for a low cut back, and that's blocked. And that's a throw-in for Manchester United. James McFadden.
Yeah, he's hovering at that back post area, Bruno Fernandes. I love his confidence that he's going to go and attack that, which I'm pretty sure he could. But Luke Shaw's obviously not been able to see him or want to put it in. And I can understand, you know, it'd have to be an unbelievable cross to pick him out in amongst all the bodies.
Throw in towards Garnacho. Manchester United fans appealing for a handball behind the byline over there. Peter Banks not interested here. Shaw on the left, cross comes in. McKenna's there, looking dangerous for Nottingham Forest at the moment. McKenna's clearance bounces on the dead ball line. Luke Shaw says it's crossed the line. Assistant referee doesn't agree, actually, stayed in play, so eventually it goes out for a throw-in to Manchester United, which is going to be level with the Nottingham Forest penalty area wide on the left.
It was a clear handball, but I don't think it's a penalty kick, because it's a natural action. It's not, you know, he's not put his arm out to make himself bigger, and I think that's a good call by the referee, clearly backed up by VAR.
Might just have been outside the penalty area. I mean, he's right on the line there, Nico Williams. Garnacho has been very clumsily fouled by Gustavo Scarpa, so that's going to be a free kick for Manchester United, and this is in a lovely position for the attacking team, because it's sort of on that 45-degree angle, so just short of the penalty area as Manchester United attack on the left. Luke Shaw could whip it in with the left foot and sort of try and get it in behind the back line, or James, if you're Bruno Fernandes, you might even think about a dip at goal here.
Yeah, from that position he can aim and fire it towards the back post and hope to get the runners in that can get the touch. If not, then there's always a chance that it creeps in at the back post, because Hennessy can't make a move until, you know, he's absolutely sure. So from that angle, if it was on the opposite side and it was myself on my left foot, I'd be shooting for that far post, pretending it's a cross and hoping that it creeps in.
Whistle blows. Luke Shaw will take it with his left foot, curls it into the far post, headed across goal. Hennessy saves with his foot. Martinez tries to get onto the rebound for Manchester United. It was almost slow motion that. It was Casemiro who popped up at the back post, did the right thing, headed it across goal. Hennessy got there with the studs of his right boot, and now Garnacho has committed a foul here on Nico Williams. It's Shaw actually who's caught Williams, and that's going to be a free kick for Nottingham Forest.
And that's why I sit here with you, Ali, and I don't coach, because that was a Luke Shaw delivery with the left foot. It was a great one as well. Casemiro, great movement to the back post, and you're right, he doesn't get a lot on the header, but it's almost, I spoke about the free kick. If you hit it towards the back post, the goalkeeper can't really react. His body's in there, and he maybe sees it late, Wayne Hennessy, and then they manage to clear it. But it's a great delivery, nice header, goes with his foot actually as well, which unorthodox, but gets the job done.
15 minutes remaining in the first half. Manchester United 0, Nottingham Forest 0 in the second leg of this League Cup semi-final. Manchester United with the comfortable 3-0 cushion from the first leg. Newcastle United awaiting the winners at Wembley 3 weeks on Sunday. Ball is inside the Manchester United half. That pass will not find Lodi. It's behind him from Scarpa, who castigates himself there, claps his hands together, wants better from himself as Wan-Bissaka takes the throw, throws it to Varane, who just comes creeping out of the Manchester United area. Gloved hands, plays back to Wan-Bissaka. Another man with gloved hands is Tom Heaton, gloves of a different sort, the goalkeeper. Out to Martinez inside the United box still. Surridge closes him down. Manchester United play round him. Here's Varane. Long legs bringing him forward, stops and turns inside his own half, just sweeps a low pass across to Martinez, and Martinez starts to pick up the pace, and Luke Shaw on his bike in that inside left channel. Garnacho drops a little bit deeper, collects it just inside the Forest half on the left. Back he comes to Martinez. Garnacho still making runs off the ball here, comes towards the ball, gets it from Martinez, opens his body up, and little first time layoff out to Shaw on the left. Fred receives it in midfield, side foots a pass back to Varane. Varane looked like he was heading our way to the right, but he goes left again to Martinez across the halfway line. Martinez, measured pass to Garnacho, running at Nico Williams, tries to beat him for pace on the inside. Williams sticks a leg out, Scarpa's there to help. Casemiro read the danger, slides in. Williams clears down the right. Martinez got to chase this with Brennan Johnson. Barely mentioned Brennan Johnson's name in this first half, and Martinez does brilliantly to turn away from him.
Yeah, it was a tough one because Martinez had read it, and he just slows down, allows Johnson to get tight to him. Looks like he's going back to Tom Heaton in goal, just turns back onto the left foot, drives up the pitch.
Wan-Bissaka, pass blocked, is able to keep playing because the ball has bounced back to him. Bruno Fernandes inside his own half, quick pass out to the left. Garnacho controls it instantly, and off he sets towards Williams. Bruno Fernandes gives him the shout, gets the ball back. Fernandes looking for options, just being forced out wide to the left-hand side here. Can't find Garnacho. Nottingham Forest try to clear. They can't do that at the moment. Luke Shaw just pokes it back here to Casemiro, and Casemiro is able to bring it forward. Wide on the left now is Bruno Fernandes. Gets it from Shaw. Fernandes back to Shaw. Shaw back again to Casemiro. Manchester United come all the way back to the halfway line, and here's Martinez. Surridge eventually moves in. Martinez chips it down the line to Garnacho. Williams slides in too early, committed himself there. Garnacho's beaten him. Cross comes in, and Hennessy grabs it at the near post. Had he not done so, Weghorst was behind him for the tap-in.
That's tremendous from Garnacho. You know, he almost falls over Nico Williams, drops his shoulder, goes to the left, and this time it is fired in beyond that defensive line, but Wayne Hennessy's alert, manages to gather it, but it's absolutely magnificent. Garnacho looks like he's going to end up on the floor, gets back up, drops his shoulder, fires it back across, but Hennessy does well to read it and come and collect it.
Ball for Sam Surridge to chase. Tom Heaton alert to the danger, quickly off his line, clears with his left foot, throwing for Nottingham Forest. Another goal at Celtic Park, ready for Scythe.
Took some time to award it. Kyogo getting the credit eventually after a VAR check for a possible offside. Celtic with a long ball counter, a rare sight for them. Kyogo breaking clear, 12-yard finish. Celtic 3, Livingston 0. We're almost at half-time.
Chance for Nottingham Forest. Heaton has to make the save here. Really important save as well. Brennan Johnson's been quiet when charging into the penalty area. Hit the shot powerfully straight at Heaton, who blocks it with his chest. Could have been the lead for Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, it's a big chance. Brennan Johnson coming off that right hand side onto his left foot. He's trying to bend that into the far post, but he hits it straight at Heaton. It's a huge opportunity for Nottingham Forest.
Half-time at Tynecastle in the Scottish Premiership. Gavin Wallace.
Hearts 0, Rangers 2, and the visitors in free flow, to be honest. Alfredo Morelos opened the scoring after 9 with a header at the back post. The ball was inch perfect from Ryan Kent, and then on 35 it was a poorly defended corner, another header across the back post, and Malik Tillman was first to react to double the visitors' lead. Hearts 0, Rangers 2.
Half-time in League One, Oxford United 0, Barnsley 1. Half-time now at Celtic Park. We just heard from Roddy Kyogo's goal coming just before the half-time break. So Celtic 3, Livingston 0. Rangers 2-0 up at Hearts. Kilmarnock leading Dundee United by a goal to 0. That is a half-time scoreline as well. And St Johnstone with their early lead away to Motherwell. Motherwell 0, St Johnstone 1. While we were away with Gavin, Fred booked for a challenge on Gustavo Scarpa on the halfway line. He's picked himself up. He's back into the action. We've got about 10 minutes remaining in this first half, and Marcus Rashford, amongst others, is getting warm applause from the Manchester United fans as he goes down the touchline to warm up. Garnacho got a little tug back from Nico Williams there. Not quite enough for Peter Banks to blow the whistle, but I think Williams was worried Garnacho was going to get away from him.
Yeah, he does give him a little pull, but Garnacho takes a poor touch. It goes behind him, but I just get a chance there to see Brennan Johnson's chance again.
Yeah,
it's a poor finish. He really has to do better there. I think he's trying to reverse that into the near post. He's got a lot of the goal to aim for if he goes to Tom Heaton's right hand side. It's a huge chance for Nottingham Forest, and they've had to work for it because it's been a tough night for them so far, and that is a brilliant chance to go 1-up.
As you'll have heard John Murray saying in commentary last night, away goals not a thing in the League Cup, so basically Nottingham Forest need to win this game by 3 goals in the 90 minutes to take it to extra time. Win it by 4 goals, obviously, then they would automatically go through extra time and penalties. Is a possibility this evening. Motherwell 0, St Johnstone 1, a half-time scoreline. The other game this evening, Aberdeen St Mirren, still goalless. Ross McCrory sent off early on in that one for Aberdeen. Goal kick Manchester United, 9 minutes remaining in the first half on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, and Rafael Varane is creeping forward with the ball at his feet for United, and he's got Wan-Bissaka, plenty of space here wide on the right for the home team. Dennis comes back at him, and Bruno Fernandes, lovely clip first time ball to Wan-Bissaka, wide to Anthony. Oh, trick from Anthony to beat his man on the right, and then Bolly slices the clearance behind. That is going to be a corner for Manchester United. Nottingham Forest there, James, claiming that Anthony's little bit of skill actually took the ball beyond the dead ball line. That was fabulous.
It was brilliant, and as the ball was coming to him, I thought he's going to try something here. He just steps on it with the left foot, flicks it forward with the right, and it's brilliant. It does Scott McKenna, and I don't want to comment because we saw what happened in the World Cup, but if we're going by those lines, then I would say it was in.
Luke Shaw with the corner. Cleared. Oh, good hit from Anthony just over the bar. Bouncing ball. Struck that so sweetly with his left foot. He was backpedaling, which made that even more difficult, and it's gone flashing over Wayne Hennessy's crossbar, but the dive from the goalkeeper told you he wasn't entirely sure that wasn't going in.
No, it was well struck from Anthony. He's went out for the short corner and made his way back round to the edge of the box. He could have taken a touch, but what a hit. It bounces quite high as well. He does really well to keep that as low as what he did. And yeah, Hennessy, he had to scramble across, but over by about a yard.
Dennis, I think, fouled by Wan-Bissaka there. Yes, referee agrees. That'll be a free kick for Nottingham Forest. Those little bits of skill, for a fan coming in tonight, and as we've been saying, 3-0 on aggregate to Manchester United, and maybe at the moment not that much drama in the tie. You'll go away remembering that, though, Jones, won't you?
Yeah, and it's not, a lot was made of the spin that he does, and it's not beating a man, but he did beat Scott McKenna. He did manage to get the cross in, and there is a bit of substance to that skill as well, and you could see it, as the ball's rolled towards him. You could see that he was going to try something, and that is what people want to see, especially from Anthony.
Renan Loddy, free kick from deep into the edge of the penalty area. The ball is headed across the face of Tom Heaton's goal. Emmanuel Dennis will chase it, but it'll go behind for a goal kick. And as James described, I think I remember Gazza doing that particular skill. you stop the ball with one foot and then poke it forward, almost like a tiny little toe punch yourself, don't you, to surprise the defender, and then race after it and collect it beyond him.
Yeah, well, that you know, Scott McKenna will be worried about the pace and the sharpness of Anthony, probably expecting him to come back onto his left foot as well. So that little stop just makes the defender have to make a decision. But he does it so quick that McKenna can't adjust.
Anthony to Wan-Bissaka, good challenge on Wan-Bissaka. The ball spins loose into the Nottingham Forest penalty area. Fred tries to win a flick on. Weghorst gets his body in the way. Scarpa deals with it well for Forest, closed down by Weghorst. Plays a pass to his left. Here's Lodi. Lodi's spinning clearance up towards the halfway line. Casemiro heads it infield. We've got about 6 minutes remaining in the first half here at Old Trafford. Still 0-0 on the night, and here's Bruno Fernandes. Cushions a little pass into the feet of the 18-year-old Argentine Garnacho. Fernandes makes a good run into a pocket of space, takes a tumble, fell over Bolly's legs. Referee's not interested. I don't think Bruno Fernandes is really claiming a penalty there, just off balance and down he went. Here's Nico Williams. Garnacho just trying to nudge him off the ball. Williams running it down the right. He's running out of play. Throw-in for Manchester United.
And who's there to try and help him mop up? Casemiro. He's everywhere. He's helping in the defence. He's standing in front of Surrey, so he's not getting a clear ball into his feet or into his chest. He's defending crosses, and he's back over covering Garnacho, who, to his credit, you know, stuck with Williams, but looked like he was getting away from him, and Casemiro's there to mop up.
Mangala takes it off Garnacho, then loses it himself to Luke Shaw. Opportunity for Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes bringing it forward, might fancy the shot himself, just clips a little ball here into the feet of Anthony in the box. Didn't quite have time to get the shot away. Fernandes is challenged on the edge of the area, and eventually Manuel Dennis has it, brings it away for Forest down the left. Sliding challenge from Casemiro, keeps that in play. Dennis gets the last touch. Wan-Bissaka's boot has come off, so he's having to readjust things. Throw in for Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes not bothered about Wan-Bissaka. He's going to keep going, and the ball bounces to him on the right. Surely Lodi's dragged him back there. He has, outside the penalty area, wide on the right. Bruno Fernandes says that has to be a free kick. It is a free kick.
Yeah, I mean, we're quite far away and we could see it was a free kick. The referee had to wait for the assistant to flag and tell him that it was a free kick.
Now this is an interesting one here. So this is about penalty spot level, 2 yards outside the box on the right. Shaw and Fernandes again have the choices to make here, but there are so many different things they could do with this, actually, James.
Yeah, and I'm not going to go through them all because they're going to do something different, but I've just noticed Wan-Bissaka, I've heard of, you know, the expression having your shirt ripped off your back, but he's got the number 9 ripped off the back of his shirt. He's got number 2.
Is he?
He's just got number 2 on his shirt. I don't know what's happened there. I don't know where it is. I can't see anything, you know, flying about the pitch.
Victor Lindelof sitting on the bench with number 2 on as well. Could get confusing. Free kick for Manchester United. Fernandes and Shaw standing over the ball. Danger for Nottingham Forest here. United leading 3-0 from the first leg. Shaw runs over this one. Here comes Fernandes. Clips it back to Shaw. Will drive the shot, sliced it badly. Hits someone inside that penalty area. You really wanted Paul Scholes to be on the end of that. That's what they used to do. Tee him up from the edge of the box, and Luke Shaw couldn't quite produce the goods. But here come Manchester United again. Ball into Garnacho's feet. Back to goal. Trying to lay it back to Casemiro. Not enough on the pass. Nottingham Forest bring it away. 3 minutes remaining in the first half. Still 0-0 on the night. And Emmanuel Dennis saying, I've got no support here from teammates. Eventually Mangala's there. And Mangala picks up the running. Plays a little 1-2 with Freuler. And across it comes to Willy Bolly. And Bolly forward to Mangala. But all inside the Nottingham Forest half. So Manchester United keeping their opponents at arm's length. No complacency, as Eric Ten Hag demanded in the programme notes. No goals as yet, but still very comfortable for Manchester United. Defending to do now, though. Nottingham Forest here, they come down the right. Brennan Johnson, cross deflected. Here's the volley. Dennis, blocked on the edge of the 6-yard box by one of his own teammates. Freuler tries to get on the rebound. Manchester United get it away.
What a chance. And this time Casemiro is over to cover, but Johnson does really well to cut inside him. And it's a good pick out to Dennis at the back post. He does well to get a connection on it. It's goal bound, and it just bounces off his Surridge. I don't know if that would have been in. I don't know if Heaton had it covered, but that was a huge opportunity again for Forest.
It's interesting. They've had 2 really good looks at goal in this first half. Brennan Johnson couldn't finish the first one. We'll look at the replay now. Dennis got it. That's going in, I think.
Yeah, it is. Heaton's scrambling across his right hand side. And Dennis gets brilliant contact, hits it down into the ground. That's skidding towards that far post. Surrey's just gets in the way. It's through no fault of his own. He's made the run for the cross. He just can't get out the way of it.
1-2 with Dennis and Surridge. Ball played in field to Scarpa, looking for another 1-2 to Dennis. Not enough on the pass from the Brazilian. Martinez intercepts. On a night like tonight, when you're trying to do what Nottingham Forest are trying to do, come back from 3-0 down in the first leg, you need absolutely everything to go your way. I hadn't realised quite how well Dennis had caught that. Great chance for Johnson, great chance for Dennis. I know it's ifs, buts and maybes, but could have been 2-0 up.
Yeah, well, look, they could easily be 1-0 up going into half time, and then Steve Cooper can rally the troops, if you like. But even the way they're finishing the half will give them belief. If they don't manage to get that goal, that they can come out and go and attack, because when they've gone forward, whether it's down this left hand side or over on the right hand side, they've looked dangerous and they've created opportunities.
Ball is headed powerfully into the Manchester United half. Martinez controls it. Luke Shaw sees an attacking opportunity and off he goes. Plays the ball forward to Garnacho. Garnacho sees Williams backpedaling, runs towards him on the diagonal. Back to Shaw, across to Casemiro. Yeah, number 2, Wan-Bissaka, but the 2 to the left of the back of his shirt. Wide to Anthony, chests it down, will fancy a run at Lodi, tries to beat him on the outside, does beat him, drags it back onto the left foot, just outside the box, down by the byline. Cross blocked by Lodi. Here's Casemiro, first time cross. Weghorst with the header, hits the post, and Williams clears up towards the halfway line. 1 minute of added time at the end of this first half. That'll be a throw-in for Nottingham Forest, and Wout Weghorst very nearly had his second goal for Manchester United.
No, he did. When Anthony goes down that right hand side, he'd made a brilliant run, Weghorst, to the near post, and Anthony chops back, but good striker on the move again. It's a great ball in. He does really well to direct that, because it's an awkward height for him. Because his size, he has to stoop and try and get as much as he can on it to deflect out of the far post, and he's unfortunate to see it crash off that post.
30 seconds remaining in the first half. I know Chris Sutton will be encouraged to see that. He was talking in the Fantasy 606 podcast about Big Wout coming into the team this weekend for the Manchester United double game week, so we'll see how that pans out for him. Here's Varane, caught late by Surridge. That's going to be a yellow card for the young Nottingham Forest striker. Varane is down hurt, and that will be a free kick for Manchester United. Reminds me as well, actually, talking podcast, Rugby Union Daily back in action every day in match weeks for the Six Nations. Obviously I'm sitting next to a proud Scot on my right hand side here. England, Scotland, full commentary, 4:45, Calcutta Cup on Saturday. So the Rugby Union Daily podcast, I recommend you subscribe to that. And Ellie Oldroyd will present a Six Nations preview for you on 5 Live tomorrow from 8 o'clock, and that'll be followed by Steve Crossman with the EuroLeague's team. Varane's going to be okay. Bruno Fernandes just having a word with referee Peter Banks. By the way, Jones, just talking about Jadon Sancho as well and others. The other point to make about the Manchester United squad, and Marcel Sabitzer coming in through the door, their schedule of games, because of the competitions they're still in, is absolutely relentless. So the likes again of someone like Sancho coming back to form and fitness is going to be massive. The half-time whistle blows. Manchester United 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Nottingham Forest have had 2 really good looks at goal. Wout Weghorst has headed against the post late on, and Manchester United, James, lead the tie 3-0 on aggregate, but that's been a pretty entertaining first half.
Yeah, it has. Man United started really bright and have had a lot of control of the game, knocked the ball about well, but the 2 best opportunities have fallen to Nottingham Forest, and they'll be disappointed they haven't been able to take one of them. But it has been an entertaining game, a game that's competitive, and both sides want to go and try and win it. Man United are not sitting back, trying to just see this game out. They're going to try and get that goal that will kill the tie once and for all. But Forest encouraging with the chances they've created, and they'll be pretty pleased going into half time to come out of this second half and give it a go.
Manchester United 45 minutes away from a League Cup final place against Newcastle 3 weeks on Sunday, but still a bit of the job to do. Half time at Old Trafford, Manchester United 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Manchester United lead 3-0 on aggregate.
Yeah, and James, I suppose Nottingham Forest are 45 minutes away from doing what Steve Cooper asked, which is, at the very, very least, let's give a good account of ourselves. It could have been so different, though. If Sam Surridge doesn't inadvertently get in the way, we've got a game on. Yeah,
absolutely. And for 45 minutes, Steve Cooper will be happy with how they've played. Yes, Man United have had a lot of the ball, and they've looked dangerous at times, but they've defended pretty well, apart from the Weghorst header off the post. but the chances they've created, Brennan Johnson's a great chance as well. It's a brilliant chance going into that, coming off that right hand side onto his left foot. For me, he should go the opposite, the far side, and try and put that beyond Tom Heaton. But the chance that Dennis has, Surridge, he makes a run for the first cross and just can't get out of the way of it. It's really unfortunate, but Steve Cooper will definitely be happy with how his players have performed this first half.
They would have needed Rene Forrest to play exceptionally well and also get a bit lucky. And that moment with Surridge is the opposite of that. It's the one thing you can't really afford on a night like this.
No, and you're not going to get too many chances. But when they had a chance, they were positive going forward for us in that case. But it's just also the other end. They had a bit of luck on the other side with Weghorst's, header against the post. Because I do agree with James. They have been taking control of the game, Manchester United, and they have been, creating a few half chances. And but Forest, they have given a really good account of themselves. So it was, like Ali said, a really entertaining first half.
As of the Forest fans, Ali, not just before the game as well, but you think, come from from Nottingham to Manchester on a Wednesday night, they know that there's very little chance of their team going through, and they've made a racket.
They're a brilliant support, aren't they, Steve?
Yeah.
You've been there at the City Ground this season. I mean, we heard it loud and clear last season on that brilliant FA Cup run they had. I think all season they have absolutely loved what their team and their manager has given them. I think they're more and more encouraged now. Again, that first 45 minutes shows you they're improving. And they're enjoying the ride, and they're giving everything to their team. I think they love what their team are giving them. And okay, they may not get through to the League Cup final this evening, but I just think it's another big step in the right direction.
Ali, James, thank you very much for the time being. Meanwhile, whilst the game's been going on at Old Trafford, it's Montpellier 0, Paris Saint-Germain 0, which we normally probably wouldn't read out the Ligue 1 scores for you. But Kylian Mbappe has missed the same penalty twice. He missed it once, but the keeper was off his line, so they took it again, and he missed it again. You could have done with him having an off day at the World Cup, Rene.
Yes, but then you got to go back to that same discussion about Harry Kane with taking the penalty twice. But I think Mbappe took, how many penalties did he take in the final? And he scored them all.
Yeah.
But I like the way you say it, Steve. He took the same penalty twice. How do you do that? I think it's two different penalties, isn't it?
Well, I think technically it's the same penalty if you have to retake it. I don't know. Anyway, he missed. That's the key thing. We're going to talk about Rene's adventures with Australia at the World Cup very shortly. Rene Merlinstein, who's with us on 5 Live Sport. We'll also talk Six Nations as well. We'll do all of that after the latest news on 5 Live. Here's Matthew Bunn.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Steve. The Department for Education says a walkout by teachers affected more than half of all state schools in England. They were taking industrial action on one of the biggest strike days in recent years. University staff, train drivers and civil servants also took action, mostly demanding higher pay. Ministers say they can't afford wage rises in line with inflation. The funeral of a man who was beaten to death by police officers has been taking place in the US city of Memphis. 5 policemen are charged with murdering Tyree Nichols earlier this month. His family are calling for further reform of police forces across the country. The US Vice President Kamala Harris was one of those speaking at the service.
This is a family that lost their son and their brother through an act of violence at the hands and the feet of people who had been charged with keeping them safe.
Rishi Sunak is being asked to explain what he knew about bullying allegations against his deputy Dominic Raab. Number 10 would only say the Prime Minister has not been aware of any formal complaints when Mr Raab was appointed to the Cabinet in October. Dominic Raab denies bullying civil service staff. Mr Sunak said he'd followed the correct process when he ordered an investigation. The Labour MP Kim Johnson has apologised for describing Israel's government as fascist. She was criticised by the Labour leader's spokesman for the comments, which she made during the Prime Minister's questions. Ms Johnson was raising concerns about Israel's treatment of Palestinians. The BBC understands that British Steel is considering cutting 800 jobs, mostly at its plant in Scunthorpe. It had been negotiating for millions of pounds in government support, but sources close to the company's discussions with ministers said they'd been unsatisfactory. And a group of metal detectorists have sparked an alert after finding an unexploded bomb. The discovery at a former air raid shelter led to homes being evacuated and 3 schools in Invergordon in the Highlands being closed as a precaution. The bomb has been removed by Royal Navy explosive experts.
On BBC iPlayer,
we have turned this house into a proper home.
I love you, Stacey.
I'm back with the team to sort your life out, tackling bigger challenges.
This is the biggest shoe collection we have ever seen.
Well, that's tough. Where was it in the flat?
Transforming families' homes.
This is looking so much better already.
It's going to be life-changing.
And restoring joy to their lives all in 7 days.
This is amazing.
More than we could ever imagine.
It's the start of my new life.
Brand new Sort Your Life Out with me, Stacey Solomon. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
This is 5 Live Sport
with Steve Crossman.
Colin Murray's on the way at 10:30 tonight. This house believes this evening Neil Young or Bob Dylan. In Colin's own words, when I spoke to him a few moments ago, one of them has to go. So Neil Young or Bob Dylan, that's this house believes. I think that'll be very, very interesting indeed. Colin with you at 10:30. Once we're done with the football, Manchester United 0, Nottingham Forest 0, half-time in the League Cup semi-final. Second leg, of course, United 3-0 up on aggregate. Other sports stories for you. Jofra Archer says that he feels like he could have bowled another 10 overs after he took career best ODI figures of 6 for 40 in what was only his second international match back after 18 months out due to injury. He helped England beat South Africa by 59 runs in the third and final ODI in Kimberley. And after 3 matches on flat wickets, Jofra Archer says he's pleased to be going home.
Jeez, I've never seen 3 in a row, so God, I can't wait to leave South Africa. But nah, this is the hand we were dealt, and you just have to adapt. I think some really good cricket has been played over the last 3 games. You know, I think everybody, I think we scored 300 in almost every game. You know, so you know the batters are doing well, bowlers are doing well as well also. So you know, it's great cricket all around. But nah, it's good being back. And you know, it's just a long road. This is a small tick, but I want to see how I am in April, June, July, you know, September. So this is just the start of the road. You know, being back after however many months, days, weeks, you know, it's kind of surreal. You remember I said you only get that feeling after you start playing the first time I sat down here. So yeah, it's definitely gone a few notches. Finally winning, hopefully, well, wish we could have won a few more games, but it's fine. You know, this is just the first series. You got, I think, Bangladesh in another couple of weeks, so there's loads of time to get all the fine tuning done.
That's Jofra Archer. Today, of course, is the first day of February, which means the Six Nations is just around the corner, beginning with live commentary of Wales against Ireland from 2 p.m. on Saturday on 5 Sports Extra. Let's bring in our rugby union reporter, Sarah Orchard. Sarah, we're very much looking forward to the action on the pitch, but there is a lot of stuff, a lot of issues swirling around in the background.
Yeah, that's right. A very good evening to you, Steve. And you know what? I think this is actually one of the darkest episodes in rugby union in the Northern Hemisphere right now. Yes, of course, the Six Nations is going to happen. There'll be excitement. The games will be brilliant. But it's really not going to hide anymore what's happening. You've got the French Union still recovering from its president being found guilty for corruption. The RFU had all the chaos after that announcement of the waist tackle. You've got the WRU and the SRU both fighting fires around claims of misogyny and sexism. And on that, only tonight, the Welsh Rugby Union, they've announced wide-ranging proposals, and that follows an extraordinary general meeting. Those proposals include plans to modernise its 12-person board to include at least 5 women. They've also said that the WR chief exec or the chair should be expected to be female. The proposals have already been unanimously pre-approved by the existing board. And earlier today, they'd made an announcement that the song Delilah would no longer be sung by choirs at the Principality. I mean, you have to keep up with this because there is so much going on, and actual rugby is feeling like a long, long way away at the moment.
And I suppose one of the only things that makes it feel slightly closer is that Warren Gatland's already named his team.
Yes, that's right. Warren Gatland has gone very early with his announcement. He's done this before. He didn't have to name it until Thursday. But yes, it came out on Tuesday. He says it's to avoid it leaking to the press. The team itself, there isn't a huge change from the side that last stepped out under Wayne Pivac in the autumn. The headline is probably that the Osprey centre, Joe Hawkins, he's going to be starting at 12, and that's for his second cap. And he played there for Wales in the autumn. He has got a huge boot on him. He can also play fly half, so it's going to be really interesting to see how Gatland wants to use him. He's only 20 years old, so that's just the 17 years separating him, and of course the 37-year-old Alan Wynne-Jones, who continues in the second row.
You know, this is obviously when we start to feel like everything getting underway, because you get the training camps and you get the interviews and the press conferences starting. So what have we learned about Ireland from their camp in Portugal?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? You feel that Ireland have sort of stayed out of the spotlight, being over in the Algarve, enjoying their warm weather training camp. There were some really interesting comments, actually, that came out today from the captain, Johnny Sexton. He was talking about embracing the Netflix crew, which, of course, is following each of the teams in the build-up and throughout this Six Nations. He also spoke a little bit, actually, about being snubbed for the last Lions tour by Warren Gatland and what it was like bumping into him at the Six Nations launch just last week. And, of course, Ireland, they're the current world #1 side. They haven't won in Cardiff for 10 years. So Sexton, he's been talking a lot about if Ireland really are ready for this challenge of opening up with a victory in Cardiff.
We're fully focused on performance and trying to get that first up is always a challenge. There's no shying away from that, but we've done some great work to this point to make that a possibility. We're preparing for a full-on test match in the Principality Stadium, which is an incredibly tough place to go, a tough place to win, and that's all we've been talking about and preparing for. Just having that extra time together is good at this time when you're trying to get on the same page, get the calls back in your head, get used to playing with different guys again that you don't normally play with. So, get that atmosphere back. It's a special environment to be part of. We have obviously our Netflix friends in there, and they get to experience a bit of it. But it's a good place to be.
That's Johnny Sexton, and thanks to Sarah Orchard as well. Live commentary of Wales against Ireland from 2 p.m. on Saturday on 5 Sports Extra. Then it's England-Scotland from 4:45. Italy host France from 2:45. That's Sunday, also 5 Sports Extra. And of course, you can get much more on the Rugby Union Daily podcast, which is available on BBC Sounds. Right, second half commentary on the way, but we've got René Merlenstein with us. So before we get back underway at Old Trafford, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your World Cup adventure with Australia, which was not only amazing, I imagine, being at a World Cup, but the scenes back in Australia, René, when you were doing so well and getting through to the knockout round, that must have been an amazing feeling.
It definitely was, Steve, and I don't think anybody or not many people had any expectations from us from Australia, as probably everybody knows, but we qualified through the playoffs in beating Peru with a penalty shootout, a dramatic penalty shootout. And but it was the expectations that we set ourselves, and I think it was a great thing for Graham Arnold, the manager, the head coach, to do, to say, we want to create the greatest Socceroos team ever. And we carried that theme with us throughout the World Cup qualifiers and in the World Cup. And we always played with that, in our heads by saying we expect to win every game. And that was the intention where we set out to go against France, and Tunisia and Denmark. And, after losing to France 4-1 and then come back and beating Tunisia 1-0 and then beating Denmark 1-0 to get out of the group stages was a remarkable achievement.
We were talking just during the half about the importance of great memories in football, and you were talking about the success your son has had in the Netherlands. What memory will you take with you from being at the World Cup in Qatar? What immediately pops into your mind that will stay with you?
Definitely when we beat Denmark and we got out of the groups, because we wanted to become the greatest Socceroos team ever. They have come out of the group stage in 2006 by winning a game and drawing one. We had to win 2, and to win 2 games and keep 2 clean sheets and scoring all the games in open play was fantastic. But that moment when the final whistle went, that we knew that we knocked out Denmark and we were progressing into the next group, was fantastic.
Yeah, well, it was brilliant, so congratulations.
Thank you.
René Merlenstein, who's with us all evening on 5 Live Sport. Eric Ten Hag is walking back out at Old Trafford with that same look of steely determination on his face. Second half commentary then. Nottingham Forest don't have a mountain to climb. It's basically Everest, but they've given a good account of themselves so far. James McFadden's with Ali Bruce Sport.
Thank you, Steve. Just to keep you busy during the second half, Steve, I know you love the quiz questions. Here's one for the listeners as well. Answers to be revealed at full time. Multiple winners of the League Cup. Teams that have won the League Cup more than once. There's 12 of them, and I'm going to let James McFadden have a little think about that during the game as we go. Some very obvious answers, but you'll get to the last 2 or 3 and they're going to be a little bit trickier.
Can I answer one now?
Yeah, of course.
Birmingham, no?
Oh, he's taken one of the tough ones. Birmingham City, won it twice. Very good. So crack on with that, everyone back home. Second half underway at Old Trafford. Manchester United 0, Nottingham Forest 0 on the night. No changes made by the managers in terms of personnel at half-time. So as it stands at the moment, Nottingham Forest needing 3 goals without reply to level this tie-up and try and take it into extra time. The two teams playing for a place in the League Cup final. 3 weeks on Sunday. Full commentary on 5 Live, of course. Newcastle United against, at the moment, Manchester United it will be, unless Nottingham Forest can do something fairly miraculous in this second half. Manchester United have Tom Heaton in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Martinez and Shaw as the back 4, Casemiro and Fred in front of them, Anthony wide right, Bruno Fernandes in the number 10 role, Garnacho on the left hand side, Wout Weghorst through the middle, Rashford, Sancho, Martial all on the bench, Sam Surridge trying to intercept a ball on the halfway line, nearly fell for him. He was in the unfortunate position of blocking Nottingham Forest's best effort on goal in the first half. Emmanuel Dennis's finish was heading for the bottom corner. Surridge couldn't get out of the way. Brennan Johnson also had a good chance in that first half but couldn't take it. Here's Fred, wide to Luke Shaw, had to stretch to keep that in play but did well. Shaw inside the Nottingham Forest half. Manchester United in the red shirts, white shorts and black socks attacking the Stretford end away to our left in this second half. Fred plays to his right and here's Anthony and Fernandes and Garnacho all enjoying themselves with the ball at their feet this evening. Fred's gone down, holding his face on the edge of the Nottingham Forest penalty area. Brilliant sliding challenge by Anthony to win the ball for Manchester United off Emmanuel Dennis, and then he stopped play. Anthony's knocked the ball out of play because his teammates down. 0-0.
Yeah, Fred had tried to drive into the box. I think it's Scarpa that comes across and defends it, and then he does put his arm out almost to propel himself forward. He catches Fred in the face with the arm. Yeah, he does swing it. Sword one for Fred right in the face.
Yeah,
but I mean, these things are coming out of the game, but he's putting that up for protection for himself, Scarpa, and to propel himself forward.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
He's not deliberately trying to whack Fred in the face.
No,
is he?
He hasn't.
He's caught Fred. Nottingham Forest team, and I can see that Barnsley are 2-0 up away to Oxford United. Nicky Cadden scored the goal there. 10-man Aberdeen have conceded at home against St Mirren. Curtis Main has scored there. Steve Bruce and Mark Hughes both inside Old Trafford this evening watching the game. Another face I spotted in the commentary box, actually, Stuart Pearce, which reminded me that he was a goal scorer the last time Nottingham Forest won a game at Old Trafford back in 1994. Goals from Stuart Pearce and Stan Collymore beating the then champions Manchester United. Cantona on the score sheet for United, but that was the season 94-95 that Blackburn actually went on to win the title. Motherwell 0, St Johnstone 2 now in the Scottish Premiership. Kilmarnock 1, Dundee United 1. Play is back underway. Martinez on the ball for the home team. Varane out wide to Anthony. Noise building, ringing round the stands here at Old Trafford as Martinez brings the ball across the halfway line. Low pass to Garnacho. Garnacho just slides a ball down the left for Fred to chase. Bolly's got it covered, and behind it goes for the Nottingham Forest goal kick. So there, Hennessy in goal, Nico Williams, Willie Bolly, Scott McKenna and Renan Lodi as the back 4. Freuler, Mangala, Gustavo Scarpa, Brennan Johnson, Emmanuel Dennis and Sam Surridge as the front 3. The likes of Keylor Navas, Felipe, signed from Atletico Madrid, and John Joe Shelby yet to get involved for their new club, having joined yesterday on deadline day. Wan-Bissaka's got a 9 added to his 2 again second half, James, so we're back to number 29.
Yeah, he must have found it. he must have found it at the end. But I'm just looking at Weghorst there again. His link-up play is really good. When the ball comes in, he always seems to find a man. But you know, when United are trying to play those fast counter-attacks, Anthony's coming in off the right and Nacho's coming in off the left, Weghorst makes the run, but he's just not quick enough to get there, and it seems like it's set up for him. Get it up to Weghorst, he'll lay it off, he'll get in the box, but when it comes out to Anthony, he's taking a touch, he's not getting an early cross, he's have to adjust his run again.
Yeah, Weghorst wants someone like David Beckham out there, doesn't he? Just
I'm pretty sure everybody in this stadium would like someone like David Beckham out there.
Play back underway. Bruno Fernandes just took an unfortunate knock actually from the knee of Anthony. Fernandes went sliding into a challenge and Anthony ran into him. He's okay though. Casemiro plays forward to Fred, back to Fernandes. First time ball from him with pace out to Garnacho. Shaw first touch, runs at Nico Williams, tries to take him on the outside. Last touch comes off. Referee's just making his mind up, comes off Williams, and beg your pardon, comes off Garnacho. Goal kick for Nottingham Forest.
He's done pretty well against them, Nico Williams, I have to say. Garnacho has looked exciting and been willing to go and take him on, but for the majority of the time he's matched him, Williams, particularly down the line. He's got good speed about him. Garnacho's got that sharpness to get away, but the recovery pace from Williams is good.
Goal kick from Wayne Hennessy, it's gone straight out of play. He's hooked it away to the left, so that'll be a throw in Manchester United on the halfway line. Wan-Bissaka throws it to Varane. I'm glad Howard's name's come up. I didn't know Howard's surname. Howard Donald from Take That is here, James. Would you have got that one?
Yeah, I would have helped you out there.
Would you on the surname?
Yes.
You'd have got Donald, would you?
Donald, yeah.
Okay, Mark Owen, Gary Barlow, Robbie Williams, Howard Donald, Jason Orange. There we go. Boom. We're all over it tonight. 6.5 minutes gone, second half. Manchester United 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Fernandes, meaty first time pass to Anthony. He stops with the ball at his feet, plays it back to Fred, central position, 40 yards out. Curling pass, bounces once. Garnacho brings it under his spell, runs away from Williams across the face of the Forest penalty area. Not the best pass back, but Martinez is there to retrieve it and then scoops the ball forward, but no one's chasing that, and it just bounces harmlessly behind for another goal kick to Nottingham Forest. And the game's made a slow start second half, hasn't it, James?
Yeah, as United don't have that same tempo as they started the first half, and Forest are just sitting off them and filling gaps and asking them to break us down, but when they win it back, they're trying to break it at speed. That's the last 3 goal kicks that they've kicked, either out the park or straight back to Man United. 1-2 previously. Brennan Johnson had picked up a good position. Luke Shaw tried to go and put the press on Nico Williams. Hennessy hits it right onto the head of Johnson and he just misjudges it, and Martinez comes and mops it up. But I think that Forest, when they get it, they have to use the ball a little bit better.
Wayne Hennessy's got the ball in hand now, so rather than a stationary goal kick, he's decided to sling it out with his right arm just over Garnacho. Williams couldn't control it, and then it's got scrappy now. Shaw's pass hits Garnacho, that bounces into the path of Brennan Johnson. He's made some ground down the right, knocks it past Casemiro, picks it up the other side, crosses into the legs of Shaw, and it goes behind for a Nottingham Forest corner. Eric Ten Hag's come down. I just wonder whether that's because it's been a slow start to the second half, James. Just want to...
Yeah, maybe, but listen to that roar for the Nottingham Forest fans for them having that attack. They get the corner, it's good play from Johnson, good covering again from Casemiro, but it's given this Nottingham Forest crowd a lift.
7,500 Nottingham Forest fans in full voice away to our right. Nottingham Forest attacking that goal. They're all in yellow, blue shorts. Corner in from Scarpa, headed away. Williams there first, controls it on the bounce, takes another touch. Scarpa's there on the right for him, looks for the return pass to Williams. Garnacho back there to intercept. Fernandes to Fred. Fernandes continues a run down the left inside his own half, passing field to Weghorst, takes it in his stride. Freuler knocks him off the ball. Weghorst slaps the floor in frustration. He thought he was fouled. Freuler runs away with it, and Nottingham Forest now attacking down the left. Emmanuel Dennis getting support on the outside, doesn't need it. Cross comes in, but it's behind Scarpa, and it runs to Garnacho, and the Manchester United fans sent a thrilling counter-attack, possibly. Casemiro trying to slide the ball through the middle. Anthony chases, it's beyond him, and Hennessy gathers it on the edge of the box.
Yeah, Eric Ten Hag's furious. He's looking for a foul for Nico Williams on Garnacho. As the ball gets played back inside, Garnacho's away, he's gone. Williams just pulls him back. The ball is played out the right hand side, over hit to Anthony, but Garnacho was in, and it would have been another option for Bruno Fernandes to play that pass.
9 minutes gone in the second half, still 0-0 on the night. Manchester United coming in. Bruno Fernandes, the cutback, intercepted by Mangala. Good defending. Oh, Weghorst might have been caught inside the penalty area. Scott McKenna was clearing the ball. As he did so, he caught Weghorst, who came rushing in behind him. Peter Banks says no. Oh, Anthony charging into a couple of bodies. He loses his temper, has a swing out of the ball, misses and catches one of the Nottingham Forest players. That's Loddy. That's a crazy kick out from Anthony. I think he's claiming he was annoyed that Weghorst didn't get the penalty, and eventually I think we're going to restart with the Nottingham Forest free kick.
Yeah, well, it will be checked, of course. And just getting a chance to see it again. Yeah, he does. Scott McKenna's in the middle of playing the ball up the pitch. Weghorst just nicks in, toes it away, and McKenna kicks him. The referee's now having a word with Nico Williams about tooling.
Yeah. So Eric Ten Hag had a word with the referee, unhappy about the challenge on Garnacho. The referee eventually has come over to Nico Williams. There's not going to be a penalty, it seems. That's been checked by VAR, and a fan or someone has tried to get on the pitch this evening, and just before he got on the touchline and over the touchline by Eric Ten Hag, he's been hauled to the ground by the security stewards. And there's been a goal at Tynecastle recently. Here's Gavin Wallace.
Another goal for Rangers, Ali. Hearts 0, Rangers 3 after a couple of minutes worth of a check on VAR. Sakala played a ball across the 6-yard box for Morelos to tap home. Originally was given offside. VAR says goal stands. Rangers 3 up in Edinburgh.
We're getting another look on our replay monitors at the McKenna attempted clearance that caught Weghorst. VAR Michael Salisbury tonight didn't feel that was a clear and obvious error, didn't need to change the decision of no penalty. Attendance tonight 72,315 in for the second leg of this League Cup semi-final. The majority of them, of course, Manchester United fans, hoping their team will make it through to a first League Cup final since 2017. Oh, hang on, Garnacho and Brennan Johnson having a bit of a set to. Johnson raised his hands to Garnacho, little bit of push and shove, high up the chest, nearly in the face. Referee's not seen that, he's watching play. Weghorst tackled on the edge of the box, the ball balloons over Wayne Hennessy's crossbar and it goes behind for a goal kick to Nottingham Forest. There's a lot going on here at the moment. Celtic Park, ladies, Roddy Fasai.
Livingston 0. All the goals scored in the first half for Celtic. Greg Taylor on the half-hour mark. 2 minutes later, Daisen Maeda didn't know much about it. It was a clearance that rebounded off his napper. And then Kyogo in injury time after breaking from the halfway line and was the subject of a long VAR check, but finally declared onside. So Celtic 3, Livingston 0, and we've gone 71 minutes.
Thank you, Roddy. So Celtic and Rangers both 3-0 up. Oxford United have got a goal back with 20 minutes to play against Barnsley in League One. Oxford United 1, Barnsley 2. James, Michael Peter Banks, referee's been alerted, I think, to what was going on between Brennan Johnson, Garnacho, Freuler, and he's had a word with all of them. We're just getting another little look at it here. Luke Shaw stepped in to try and break it up before it went over the top. Second half's not really got going, but there's been lots of individual little incidents here. This is where I thought Brennan Johnson, he puts his hand quite near Garnacho's face there.
Yeah, it looks like Brennan Johnson's definitely put his hand to his face. I don't know how much force is in it.
Right, announcement inside the stadium checking possible red card. Now that announced, decision no red card. The announcement actually behind what we were seeing on our monitor. So they had a look, decided there was no need for a sending off. 13 minutes into the second half, still 0-0. Johnson and Garnacho immediately at it in a 50-50. Again, both go eyeball to eyeball. And maybe it's just the little spark this second half needs.
Well, there's been so much happening in the last 5 minutes. But yeah, I think there might be an element of trying to fire Garnacho up in a negative way from Nottingham Forest, but I don't think he looks, I don't want to put the commentator's curse on him, he doesn't look like the type that would respond to that in a negative way.
Long ball downfield for Sam Surridge to chase, up against Varane. Surridge stretches out a leg, couldn't control it. Varane just bumps him off the ball fairly. Plays back to his goalkeeper Tom Heaton. Heaton clears with his right foot down the middle of the pitch. McKenna beats Weghorst in the air. The ball falls to Fernandes just inside his own half. Outside of his right foot, plays it to Casemiro. Casemiro infield to Anthony. Anthony with a little jump and a back heel. Back to Casemiro. Ball across here to Luke Shaw. I think Marcus Rashford might be getting ready to come on for Manchester United. Here's Garnacho, corner of the box, looking for Fernandes with the pass across the face of the area. Fernandes slides in to try and win a tackle. Ball eventually comes back to Lisandro Martinez. Rashford's not the only one who's going to be coming on. Jadon Sancho will be returning to action for Manchester United for the first time since late October. Anthony is tackled by McKenna, and the ball goes out for a throw into Manchester United wide on the right. Martial as well. That is an exciting triple change.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, they were sent out to warm up, so I'm going to say it was planned, but also, you know, it takes Garnacho out the firing line as well, and potentially stops anything from bubbling over in that situation. But that is some front three to bring on.
Half an hour to play. Old Trafford suddenly into full voice. Attacking again. Garnacho gets it from Fernandes. Little bit of skill. Shot. Hennessy saves at the near post. Good goalkeeping. Got in the right position. It was a nice height for him to palm it away. Fernandes goes racing back. Slides in to win the ball off Brennan Johnson. Garnacho was trying to help out. His momentum took him into Johnson. Johnson's gone down hurt. That little battle continues, but it may well be, as you say, James, that Garnacho may well be coming off for Manchester United shortly. Nearly scored.
Yeah, he nearly signed off in style, didn't he? Great skill again. Attacking Nico Williams, he gets beyond him, steps as if he's going to go to the right, drags it onto his left foot. Looks like he's going to fire it across goal. He goes for that near post. Hennessy has it covered, but he almost signed off in style.
So Anthony Martial is another one on his way back from injury for Manchester United. Season has never really got going for him. He has been Erik ten Hag's number one choice as a centre forward when fit. Last time we saw him, he came off at half time against Manchester City in the game that United went on to win by 2-1. So Rashford on, massive roar for him. I think equally the applause for Garnacho in his performance this evening. He comes off. Jadon Sancho will replace Anthony, who looks like he's dragging himself off the field because he's been thoroughly enjoying himself this evening, and that is going to make Jadon Sancho feel good. That is the loudest roar of the evening, and Erik ten Hag's giving him big pat on the back, little pat on the back of the head, a big smile. Go and enjoy yourself, son. And he's one who, as we were discussing before the game, has been struggling, as his manager said, physically and mentally. Gets a big hug from Anthony and a real chance to try and find his form again, Jadon Sancho. And a lovely situation to come, nice game to come on into. Weghorst is coming off and Martial's coming on. James?
Yeah, it's brilliant, and to see him, you know, coming on with a smile on his face. I said this before the game. You don't know what's going on behind closed doors. You don't know the mental side, and it's such a huge aspect of football. And it's great to see him back. He's taking that time out, and you're absolutely spot on. It's a great occasion to come on. A game where Man United you expect to see out and go through in the tie, but there's still a good tempo to the game. He can come in and have a real impact on it.
Tells you something about the Manchester United squad strength. Front three go off: Anthony, Garnacho and Wout Weghorst. And on come Rashford, Martial and Jadon Sancho. Still 0-0 on the night. Wan-Bissaka, that's a bad challenge. Scarpa's made a few tonight. There's one on Wan-Bissaka on the edge of the Manchester United box. Referee just happy to give it as a free kick. That'll be Manchester United's free kick.
I can't remember Fred's challenge for his yellow card, but the last couple in this half that haven't, you know, been awarded yellow cards, Anthony's little kick out for sure is a yellow card, and that one there from Scarpa's a yellow card again. So I don't know what's happened to the referee at half time. Maybe he's come out in the second half without his cards.
Misplaced pass from Anthony Martial. His first touch of the night goes behind Rashford and out for a throw. Here comes the first change for Nottingham Forest. Brennan Johnson's coming off, and that I think is sensible as well. Keep him fit, keep him fresh. He's also getting fairly rattled. Another couple of changes coming as well. Danilo, a recent signing from Palmeiras, the 21-year-old, is coming on. He'll replace Freuler, and it's going to be a triple change for Nottingham Forest. Steve Cooper just having a word with his final substitute, Serge Aurier, who's been the regular choice at right back recently. He's getting into the action. Renan Lodi is coming off from left back, so I imagine Nico Williams may well go over to the left back position. Just thinking on Brennan Johnson as well there, James, we saw last night Bruno Guimaraes get sent off in the second leg of a game Newcastle had tied up. Now, he doesn't miss the League Cup final, but he misses 3 important games in the Premier League. Nottingham Forest cannot afford that with Brennan Johnson.
No, they can't, and it's not that he's flying into tackles. You know, he has raised his hand to Garnacho, so I think it's sensible from Steve Cooper to take him out the firing line and get him out of any kind of situation, because he's clearly fired up.
Ball down the right for Bruno Fernandes to chase, gets to it first, very nearly found Jadon Sancho. What a story that would have been if he'd been able to sweep that into the back of the net. Interception there just in time, it's behind for a corner. Bolly got there for Forest.
It was just behind it, Sancho, wasn't he? But you could feel the whole crowd willing him to pick up that speed and get on the end of it. But again, United showing that speed in the counter-attack. We've got three options in the middle. If Fernandes can pick one of them, but again defended well by Forest.
Corner for Manchester United from the right. Luke Shaw curls it in. The header is wide. Casemiro, two-headed chances this evening. One in the first half, saved by Wayne Hennessy with his foot. And this one headed just wide. Nico Williams on the line, I think, would have cleared it. Casemiro, of course, who scored 2 goals against Reading in the FA Cup on Saturday. So as well as doing all the other work he does for the team, he can score a goal as well.
The best part about that, and it's something that's rarely seen now, is give Ori a cuddle, speaking to him, trying to put him off, and then he just springs and gets away from him to get the header. I love that.
Oh, here's Sancho into the penalty area looking for Fernandes. Martial might get onto it. Martial, not time to hit it. Here's Rashford with his right foot. Williams blocks it. Rashford again, back to goal, down in the penalty area. The whole of Old Trafford goes up and wants the referee to point to the spot. Peter Banks says no. Serge Aurier clears with his left foot, and Martinez just cushions a little ball to Casemiro, and back it comes to Varane. So Nottingham Forest gave the ball away, and there were very nearly 3 separate chances for United there.
Yeah, it was a forced pass. I think Sancho played it a bit early, the bounce to Martial, but then it comes to Rashford. No way is he getting a penalty for that.
Fernandes wide on the right. Sancho's dropped deep to the edge of the box. Here's Wan-Bissaka, great first touch. Sancho takes control of the ball, runs away from Scarpa. Manchester United 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Just over 20 minutes to play. Manchester United cruising towards the League Cup final against Newcastle. Martial into the feet here. Casemiro, Hennessy saves, might be a rebound. Hennessy grabs it just in time. Chances coming thick and fast for the home team now.
Oh, well, the substitutes have had the impact, haven't they? Because they've given them fresh impetus up front. Casemiro again, it's nice interplay, a couple of little back heels. It comes into his path. Again, it's the speed of the pass forward. It's not allowing Nottingham Forest to adjust or reset. Casemiro, it's a pretty tame effort in the end. It did look like a good effort from here, but goes for the side foot and it's into the hands of Wayne Hennessy.
Aberdeen 1, St Mirren 1, latest in the Scottish Premiership. Aberdeen equalising from the penalty spot. Celtic will keep their 9-point lead this evening. They're leading Livingston by 3-0. Rangers 3-0 up at Tynecastle against Hearts. Manchester United looking to do it in style this evening. Fernandes, lovely precision pass to Fred, back out to Wan-Bissaka. Fernandes again, just inside the Forest penalty area, clip cross to the far post, headed away by Aurier, second header by Mangala. Casemiro's down, putting his fouled off the ball. Emmanuel Dennis brings it away for Forest down the left. Sancho's back covering. Oh, Casemiro flying in on Emmanuel Dennis. That was ill-judged. Now he's annoyed because he didn't get a free kick earlier, but he's picked up a yellow card.
He slipped for me. He goes to try and put pressure on, then change direction, and he slips. Look, it is a foul, there's no doubt, but he's not going in there he's not intentionally sliding in. But the chance just beforehand, Fernandes in the edge of the box, without Weghorst to be sitting on the bench saying, where was that when I was on the pitch? Because he just clips a lovely ball to the back post, perfect for Weghorst to go and attack, but he's sitting on the bench wondering,
big slip.
Where was that?
Big slip from Casemiro as well, James, spot on about that. Nothing he could do about it. Possible chance for Surridge, Heaton off his line quickly. Hasn't had much to do this evening, Tom Heaton, but has reacted well there and bowls the ball out to Fred. Fred does well, lets it run across his body to beat Scarpa. Here's Martial in the centre circle inside his own half. Plays back to Martinez. Forward to Casemiro. I hope you listening at home, if you've stuck with us all through the night, working on the quiz question. Multiple League Cup winners. All time in the competition, 12 teams who've won it more than once. And James has already given you one of the answers at the start of the second half, one of the trickier answers I think as well. Here's Wan-Bissaka on the right, inside the Forest half, plays back down the line to Sancho. Sancho sets off on a nice run, gets the ball back again, looking for a low ball to Casemiro on the edge of the box. Casemiro has to battle to win it, but he's done so. Finds Martial down by the byline. Martial slips, regains his balance. Fernandes drives it wide. Took a deflection, did it? The flag was up for offside anyway. Fernandes hit that like a rocket from close range. wouldn't have counted.
I still was waiting for the net to buzz there. It looked like it smashed into the net. Martial, yeah, it goes early, he's offside. But again, it's just that threat, Man United attack. You know, they're playing little passes, they're coming from all angles, the runs are coming from all angles. It's different players that are getting in on the end of it.
Five Live's back at Old Trafford on Saturday, by the way. Premier League commentaries begin again, 3 o'clock. Ian Dennis and Chris Waddle will bring you Manchester United against Crystal Palace. As I mentioned in the first half, Six Nations begins at the weekend, so 4:45 kick-off, full commentary on the Calcutta Cup from Twickenham on 5 Live. 5:30 Premier League action on Sports Extra is Newcastle West Ham, and then Nottingham Forest are going to feature in 5 Live's Premier League Sunday. We've got full commentary on Nottingham Forest Leeds at 2 o'clock. Tottenham Manchester City in full at 4:30. The BBC Sounds app, the place to listen if you haven't got a radio, or if you're on the move on your device, just make sure you download the BBC Sounds app and you can listen to live radio on that. Tom Heaton getting the ball back, edge of his box. So we've got 20 minutes to play. We still haven't seen a goal, which is fairly remarkable considering how close we've come on occasions, but it's very good for Manchester United. They're on the way to a League Cup final against Newcastle, repeat of the FA Cup final 1999, the season Manchester United did the treble. Here's Wan-Bissaka looking for Martial, pass just ahead of him, Bolly intercepts, Mighton gets it for Nottingham Forest, forced back into his own half, sliding pass from him, cut out by Wan-Bissaka. Here's Casemiro, rolls it down the line to Fernandes, low cross comes in, covered and cleared by Danilo for Nottingham Forest, and Bruno Fernandes, like a fielder in the deep, catches it on the boundary and gets ready to take the throw. Oh, it was headed into his hands. That's a great header from the fan in the stands.
Great accuracy as well, great weight on it. Just perfect for Fernandes to take first time.
I hope he gave him an approving nod. I really hope Fernandes gave him a little nod there. That was good. James McFadden with us here at Old Trafford. Varane forward to Fernandes, quickly back to Martinez. Nottingham Forest really not seeing much of the ball, not offering much attacking threat now later in this game. I think they always knew from the start of tonight it was going to be an extremely hard task. I think the chances now are very, very slim indeed. United looking comfortable. Shaw plays down the line to Fred, to Rashford, didn't quite get enough on it. Rashford trying to turn it round the corner. Here's Alex Mighton, rare appearance this season for Nottingham Forest, having been on loan to Sheffield Wednesday and returned from there. Flick from Scarpa looking for Mighton, slides in. Casemiro wins it, volley clears, Casemiro back to Martial. Now this could be the chance. Rashford to his left, Fernandes to his right, plays in Rashford, couldn't quite find him, shot deflected, stuck into the back of the net by Anthony Martial with his left foot. First goal of the night at Old Trafford, place in the League Cup final absolutely assured. Martial down on his knees to celebrate. Manchester United 1, Nottingham Forest 0. They'll be playing Newcastle in that League Cup final 3 weeks on Sunday.
Now there's a slice of fortune in it, rebounding back to Anthony Martial. We had Marcus Rashford out on his left hand side, he's driving into the box, he doesn't quite get the pass wide right to him, and it's a good challenge, but it all starts from the first time pass. Again, I've highlighted it all night, the first time pass from midfield from Casemiro, perfectly weighted into the path of Martial. There is a huge slice of fortune. Scott McKenna's unlucky, but when it comes back to Martial, that left foot finish into the side netting, absolutely no chance for Hennessy to keep it out, and you have to say it's a goal that Man United deserve for all their attacking play.
Better ball from Martial with the first pass. I think that would have been another goal for Marcus Rashford. Rashford's deflected shot falls to Martial, and as James McFadden has just explained, makes absolutely no mistake. 1-0 on the night, 4-0 on aggregate. The triple change really increased the threat for Manchester United, stepped it up a gear. And Martial, 6th goal of the season. When they get him on the field and when he's up for it, he's playing extremely well. Ball down the left for Nico Williams to chase for Nottingham Forest, working it back onto his right foot, plays this back down the touchline. Williams again just outside the United penalty area. Ball finds Scarpa, 25 yards out, low shot. Casemiro there, closes it down quickly. Scott McKenna leaps to win a powerful header. Luke Shaw gets a touch on it, Fred clears it. Rashford lays it off to Fred, just inside the United half. Spaces could open up for the home team here later in the game, and Bruno Fernandes twists and crosses the halfway line. Williams with half an interception, only as far as Sancho. Sancho looking for Martial, the ball not good enough, and Danilo gets a foot on it, back to Hennessy, and Hennessy clears. But you feel there could be more goals here for Manchester United.
Yeah, I mean, they're 4-0 up in aggregate, but they've just lifted the tempo again. Some of the passing through that midfield, again, another early forward pass. Sancho, I think everyone in here is looking for him to try and take someone on and get a shot. He tries to play the pass to Martial, but the speed in the counter from Man United, the control they have in that attack is really, really impressive.
Fred, ball into the feet of Martial, took that well. Sancho just behind him. Sancho sees Fernandes in space on the right, outside of the right foot, cross towards the far post. Rashford attacks it across goal, and it's tucked in at the far post. Manchester United have a second goal, and it's Fred on the score sheet again, like he was against Reading in the FA Cup on Saturday. He just lets the ball bobble into his knees. Huge smile across his face. Manchester United 2, Nottingham Forest 0 on the night. That's 5-0 on aggregate.
And we saw a pass from Bruno Fernandes in the first half with it outside his right foot. First time, this time he's on the right hand side, and it's another unbelievable cross with the outside his boot. I think he's aiming for Martial, but Rashford, like all good wide men, in at that back post just to square it across for Fred. But the numbers that Man United are getting into the box as well, the 6 players in the box as that ball was put over the line, they are so dominant in attack. And I know it's great forward play, and they're able to get bodies forward, but it comes because they've got a man mounting in that midfield in Casemiro. They know that he'll mop up for them. They know he'll read situations. That's why they can pile bodies forward. But what about the pass from Bruno Fernandes, again with the outside of the right foot?
Here we go, little stat from Statman Dave, actually. Juliet has just picked up on here. Anthony Martial has now scored as many goals for Manchester United, 85, as David Beckham. He's done it in 111 fewer appearances. Thank you, Statman Dave, part of the Fantasy 606 podcast, available for you from 9 o'clock tomorrow morning on the BBC Sounds app. Manchester United Crystal Palace, 3 o'clock commentary on 5 Live on Saturday. Exciting times for Manchester United on their way to a really mouth-watering League Cup final against Newcastle. They've got two-legged tie against Barcelona later this month in the last 32 of the Europa League. 5th round FA Cup tie against West Ham. Currently 4th in the Premier League, level on points with Newcastle, just 6 points behind Manchester City. It's looking good. Eric Ten Hag's done a fantastic job here, hasn't he, James?
Remarkable. I spoke about, watching Man United last season, and to see them and how good a job he's done this season, the energy, the purpose in their play, the attacking threat, getting the best out of players, it is night and day. It really is. And you mentioned that tie against Barcelona.
Yeah.
What are those games will be? They'll be special games, because if Man United can play like this, then those games will be special. They really will. Commentary
on those on BBC Radio 5 Live, Thursday night football. In a few weeks' time for Manchester United. Got to finish the job here first, leading 2-0 on the night, 5-0 on aggregate, 13 minutes to play in this game. And since the World Cup, this is going to be a 10th win in 12 games for Manchester United. The one draw at Crystal Palace, the one defeat in the 3-2 loss against Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium. Varane towards Martial, little flick into the feet of Sancho, who seems to be enjoying himself as well. Pass across Shaw. Rashford forward to Martial, back to Rashford. Lots of speed and movement and skill. Rashford's lost it here. Shaw tries to win it back, but every loose ball finds a red shirt. The real number 2's coming on shortly, Victor Lindelof. And Harry Maguire just takes off the training top. He's coming on too for Manchester United to see out this cup tie. 5 Live and BBC Sounds, live at Old Trafford. Wan-Bissaka on the ball into Bruno Fernandes, who's been majestic for Manchester United this evening. Wan-Bissaka's been fouled. Free kick for United. They are absolutely toying with Nottingham Forest now.
They are, and you speak about before the game how Man United will approach this. Their professionalism cannot be in question, because they've approached this like they were down in the tie. They really have, and some of their play, their passing and movement, the speed has been excellent. And Casemiro getting a well-deserved rest, and I can totally see why he is getting that rest. He's been exceptional tonight, he really has.
Casemiro and Rafael Varane get a late breather in this game. Lindelof and Maguire wait to come on. Just over 10 minutes to play. Full time starting to come through in the Scottish Premiership. Kilmarnock have beaten Dundee United by 1-0. Eric Ten Hag says thank you very much to Casemiro for another masterful performance in central midfield. And Rafael Varane applauds the Manchester United fans as he makes way, and Harry Maguire immediately heads forward to attack a set piece. Now, you don't want this to get too messy for Nottingham Forest, because they've not done too badly this evening. Second half, they've just not been able to live actually with Manchester United's second half, and minds will be turning to their game for them, Premier League at home against Leeds on Sunday. 2 o'clock commentary on 5 Live. Whistle blows, free kick. Fernandes whips that in with real pace, headed away by Surridge. Fernandes waits for the ball to drop, plays it back to Wan-Bissaka. He's going to have to work hard here to get there first. He does, and plays a back pass to Tom Heaton. Heaton, who's had a very comfortable second half, just side foots the ball towards Fred. Fred plays a 1-2 with Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw out wide to Rashford, back to Shaw again. Full time at Celtic Park tonight. Roddy Forsyth.
Yes, Celtic 3, Livingston 0, so Celtic maintained their 9-point lead over Rangers. All the goals were scored in the first half. Greg Taylor opening it in half an hour. Inside 2 minutes, Daisen Maeda with a rebound off his head. Don't think he knew anything about it, but it was 2-0. Kyogo in injury time. In the second half, Celtic were rather careless, but the Livingston had nothing on target, although an Anderson shot clipped the far post after beating Hearts. So Celtic 3, Livingston 0 here at Celtic Park.
Ball through from Martinez, might run to Luke Shaw, edge of the box. Willy Bolly's just going to beat him to it. Good battle now, shoulder to shoulder. Last touch there came from Bolly. That'll be a corner for Manchester United. On air through until 10:30 on 5 Live and BBC Sounds this evening. Anything you miss in terms of the post-match reaction this evening, if you can't join us for it live, Football Daily podcast, BBC Sounds app. Just head there, subscribe to the Football Daily, and it'll be there in your inbox every single morning. Corner taken short from Fernandes to Shaw. Shaw's curling cross in towards the far post, cleared by Forest. Mighton controls it inside his own half, tries to get Dennis away down the left. Wan-Bissaka's not going to beat him to that ball, so he steps off. Dennis plays it infield to Danilo. Danilo takes it past Luke Shaw, shoots. Oh, good save from Heaton. Rebounds to Surridge. He's lofted it over the bar. Great chance for Surridge to score at Old Trafford. Just couldn't control the shot on the turn inside the box. James McFadden.
It's a difficult one. It's a great break from Forest, it really is. And when it comes to Danilo, we spoke about Tom Heaton have nothing to do. He had to be alert there. He's full stretch, uses his right arm as it comes across his body, palms into the path of Surridge, and it's going away from him. It's bouncing, it's quite high. It is a difficult one for him to take, but just getting a chance to see that Heaton shot again, it's a tough one for Surridge when it comes back to him. But from where we're sat, we've got a great angle. It looks like he can just put that into the empty net. Easier said than done, but a good break from Forest, a good chance to get a goal in the game.
Late third goal for St Mirren at Pittodrie against 10-man Aberdeen. Declan Gallagher has scored. Aberdeen 1, St Mirren 3, and St Johnstone 2-0 winners away at Motherwell this evening. As James pointed out to me at half-time, I said Motherwell, one of James's former clubs. St Johnstone obviously also one of James's former clubs.
I've got another one for you in that game. Curtis Main scored 2.
Yes.
Declan Gallagher scored the other. Both used to play for Aberdeen.
Very good, very good. Thank you very much. Manchester United 2, Nottingham Forest 0 on the night. 5-0 on aggregate. I know Steve Crossman will have been scribbling his answers to the little quiz I set you at the start of the second half. I'll run through the answers for you shortly, so then we can concentrate all the way through on the action until the full-time whistle, and Manchester United making their way through to what will be a 10th League Cup final for them. Sir Alex Ferguson inside the stadium this evening. Won 4 League Cups as Manchester United manager. They have in fact won the last 4 finals they have participated in. And here is Harry Maguire now on the ball, pass to his right, finds Wan-Bissaka. So Manchester United clearly one of your answers to the quiz. Multiple League Cup winners. So here's Danilo, got to be careful here because Fred's breathing down his neck on the halfway line. Mangala plays forward to Surridge. Martinez just knocks him over. Referees, I think, going to play advantage here. Is he going to come back? No, the free kick's now gone the other way for a foul on Wan-Bissaka later in the move. So here are your answers. Liverpool are the club that have won the most League Cups with 9. Manchester City close behind because they've won tons recently with 8. Manchester United, Aston Villa and Chelsea all have 5. I can hear you ticking these off at home. Tottenham and Nottingham Forest both have 4. Forest won all 4 under Brian Clough. Leicester, 3 League Cups to their name, and James quite rightly said Birmingham have 2, Arsenal have 2, Norwich have 2, and Wolves also have 2. Those are your answers to the little quiz, your League Cup quiz this evening. Here's Luke Shaw wide on the left for Manchester United. Some United fans heading for the exits already. Jadon Sancho back in action and on the ball. Pass across to Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka opens it up to the right. Nottingham Forest waiting to make a late double change and give a couple of their kids a taste of the action here. Here's Shaw. Shaw to Rashford. Rashford's inside the Forest area. Dummies a shot on his left foot. 3 yellow shirts in front of him. Fred's curling cross into the far post. The ball bounces on the edge of the box and Nottingham Forest clear it up towards the halfway line. Maguire's there. Heads it back. High, towering header. McKenna returns it. Maguire wins another header. Finds Sancho. Sancho to Martial. Now to Bruno Fernandes. Drives the shot right across the face of goal. And behind it goes for a goal kick. Full time at Tynecastle. Gavin Wallace.
Yeah, Ali, Hearts 0, Rangers 3, and Alfredo Morelos double, and 1 from Malik Tillman sends the visitors back along the M8 with all 3 points, and more importantly, no more ground lost to Celtic. Hearts had their chances, but a poor first half performance coupled with a ruthless Rangers side proved too much for Robbie Nielsen's men. Ryan Kent booked for diving and 3 goals chalked off for offside for the visitors. Won't matter a jot to Michael Beale as his unbeaten start to life in Glasgow continues. Hearts 0, Rangers 3.
Yeah, as Gavin says, 9 points between them still, both with 3-0 wins tonight. So Celtic 9 points clear of Rangers at the top. 20-year-old Oliver Hammond has come on into the Nottingham Forest midfield. Made a substitute appearance against Grimsby earlier on this season in the League Cup, but now here he is getting a run out at Old Trafford, and a first-team debut for a young centre-forward chasing this ball right now, number 49 on his back, who goes by the name of Isapa Osong. So what a moment for him, and he's going to get 4.5 minutes plus a little bit of added time as well. Nottingham Forest trailing by 2-0. They've been well beaten across the 2 legs of this semi-final, which is why we're heading towards Manchester United against Newcastle in the League Cup final on Sunday, February the 26th. Maguire plays out wide to Wan-Bissaka. Fernandes still full of running. Williams does well, sticks the left boot out to intercept the ball just before he got to him. Fernandes still chases, but Forest should clear with McKenna up towards the halfway line. Maguire gets his body in the way, chests it down. Here's Williams again, just going to go with a long diagonal ball for Mighten to chase. Luke Shaw, arms pumping, trying to stick with Mighten. Mighten keeps it in on the right-hand side, gets a little shove from Shaw, goes down, eventually wins a throw-in for Nottingham Forest. James.
Yeah, he does well, Mighten. He does, because it's an overhit pass. He's basically on the line, and it's probably the best that he could have got there, is get a throw-in.
Fred's there in the left back position to clear for Manchester United. Danilo runs back towards the halfway line, plays it to Willy Bolly. Bolly goes to his goalkeeper Wayne Hennessy. Rashford racing towards him. Hennessy just chips a nice ball out to the left. Williams heads it down, lobs the ball down the left for Dennis to chase. Maguire across and clears for Manchester United. Light smattering of applause for that. Light rain continues to swirl here at Old Trafford as Lindelof plays to Maguire. Maguire down the line, loads of space for Fernandes here. Crosses the halfway line, sees Sancho. What can he do? Middle of the Forest half, tries to beat a man. Danilo wise to that and makes the tackle. Forest have given the ball away. Lindelof gives it straight to Fred. Fred's score of the second goal tonight. Nice speedy turn from Martial, beats a couple of men, then runs into a wall of yellow shirts. Here's Hammond. Hammond's pass intercepted by Shaw. Mighten's left it behind. Rashford onto it. Martial could be offside. Rashford curls the ball to the right. Here's Fernandes. Early cross looking for Sancho in the middle. Fernandes frustrated he couldn't find a teammate. Wan-Bissaka wins the header and Manchester United will recycle again.
Yeah, when it comes to Rashford, Martial makes a run far too early, is offside, and Fernandes seems to have the freedom of that right hand side, and he really should be putting a better ball in. He's got 2 targets to hit and he hits the first man. It's a great opportunity for Man United to go and get a third goal.
Luke Shaw, ball back to Maguire, all at walking pace at the moment. Manchester United have the job done. Big games for both in the Premier League this weekend. Maguire to Martinez. Manchester United fans getting ready to celebrate an appearance in a domestic cup final for the first time since 2018. That was a cup final defeat against Chelsea. The year before that, of course, won the League Cup against Southampton. Sancho to Martial, turning on the edge of the box, slipping as he does so, flat on his back. His pass has run to Alex Maiton. Maiton's going to try and run it out of his own half. Fred lets him go, couldn't get out of the way though. Maiton wins the free kick for Nottingham Forest.
I'm just looking at Osong and just hoping he gets a touch, because he's doing an awful lot of running. He's yet to have a touch yet. Maiton had a chance to just play it up the line for him. Hammond's come on, he's had his touch. Osong needs to get a touch as well.
Number 49, he's the 18-year-old centre forward who's got Harry Maguire for company at the moment. Osong just jogging into space. 1 minute of added time remaining. We're 1 minute away from Manchester United officially confirming their place in this season's Carabao Cup final. And what a final to look forward to it is as well. Manchester United against Newcastle United. Both teams level on points in the Premier League, both in cracking form. Manchester United, a club that hasn't won a trophy for the last 5 seasons. Newcastle's wait has been a lot longer than that. Both fans demand the success. Here's Rashford on the edge of the penalty area. Lot to look forward to. He's tackled, Bolly clears, throw in Manchester United, and we're just in the closing stages.
And what a pass that is from Harry Maguire. Steps out to the right side of the defence, just hits a diagonal to Rashford. It's not like him to be taking a poor touch like that, but it's a great pass from Maguire.
Shaw stretches, can't keep that ball in play. It's going to be a throw-in for Nottingham Forest. Ever the cynical professional there. Luke Shaw doesn't want them to take it quickly, so just toe pokes the ball down the slope. That's it, all over at Old Trafford. Manchester United beat Nottingham Forest by 2-0 on the night, 5-0 on aggregate over the 2 legs. They're through to a League Cup final for the first time since 2017, and what a final we have to look forward to as well. Manchester United against Newcastle United, playing for the League Cup on Sunday, February the 26th. And James McFadden, the form that those two clubs are in, that promises to be something very special.
Yes, it does. It's going to be a cracker. Totally professional and exciting performance from Manchester United tonight. And you have to say, Nottingham Forest, for spells in the game, managed to put up a good fight, but the class and the quality was too much in the end. Great speed in the attack, great all-round play from Man United. Sets up for a cracking final. Two teams that are playing really well at the minute. It should be an absolute belter.
Steve Cooper, Nottingham Forest manager, just going round and congratulating all the Manchester United players as well as his own team. Nottingham Forest gave it their all. Their battle now to try and stay in the Premier League. What an exciting season for Manchester United. The goals came late from Anthony Martial and Fred. 2-0 on the night, 5-0 on aggregate. Manchester United through to the final.
Never in doubt really, James, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was a great performance from Man United. They had so much control in the game. They weren't rushed, they just waited a moment, but when they went at pace. The bodies going forward, it seemed like from everywhere. And yeah, I think 2-0's more than a fair reflection of the game. It was an extremely dominant performance from Man United, and well played to them, because the question beforehand was, could Man United be the only team to beat themselves? Well, they didn't. They were fantastic. It was a joy to watch, and some of their attacking play was outstanding.
Rene, we said before the game, and well, Steve Cooper said before the game, that what he wanted his team to do was to show that they can perform at this level, on this stage, knowing that going through was unlikely. For 70 minutes, they did absolutely fine. Does that last 20 minutes take away from that at all, from their perspective?
A little bit, baby, but you know, at the end, like James said, Manchester United went about the business really well. Played some really good stuff. It was just a matter of time for me when they were conceding. I was a bit worried when they conceded 2 goals in a very short period of time, because I thought, you know, Manchester United won't stop, so it could have easily gone into a 3-0 or 4-0, and then suddenly you look at a little bit of a disappointing result. I think Steve Cooper and Nottingham Forest can live with 2-0. I think it was, you know, they give it their all, they give it their best. But Manchester United is where they are at the moment, and they are in a very good shape.
Lots more to come from Rene, from Old Trafford as well, from Ali Bruce Ball and James McFadden. We will review all of it. We'll just begin to get excited about what a great final we have on paper. Manchester United versus Newcastle. And then Colin Murray is with you at 10:30. Remember, on This House Believes, it's Neil Young or Bob Dylan. Quote Colin Murray, one of them has got to go. It's a standoff, but with harmonicas. So don't forget to tune into Colin's show, which starts at 10:30. But lots of reaction to come from Old Trafford after the news with Matthew Butt.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks very much, Steve. Government figures suggest that more than half of schools in England either restricted attendance or closed their doors today because of strikes. Thousands of teachers joined train drivers and civil servants in what's believed to be the biggest day of industrial action for a decade. Ministers say they can't afford pay demands and are committed to reducing inflation instead. But the Conservative peer Lord Balfe, who's acted as a trade union envoy, thinks the government should change tack.
I think the government should call back the pay review bodies and look for an interim settlement. In other words, one to tide them over for the next few months until the next settlement. And that will involve money, yes, but you can't cure inflation by just hitting at one section of the community.
The Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer has accused Rishi Sunak of being too weak to sack his Deputy Prime Minister over bullying allegations. Dominic Raab denies the claims. Mr Sunak told MPs he'd followed due process and taken action. The US Vice President Kamala Harris has addressed the funeral of a young black motorist who died after being beaten by the police in Memphis, Tennessee. She said the violence that had led to the death of Tyree Nichols hadn't been carried out in the pursuit of public safety. 5 black officers have been charged with second-degree murder. Joe Biden's personal lawyer has said a search of the president's beach house in Delaware has concluded with no classified documents being found. The search was ordered after sensitive documents from his time as vice president were found at other properties linked to him. The owners of 4 luxury flats overlooked by a part of the Tate Modern Gallery in London have said they're relieved the Supreme Court has ruled in their favour after a long-running privacy battle. They'd complained that visitors to the gallery's viewing platform, which opened in 2016, could see directly into their homes. And the singer Beyoncé has announced her first world tour in 7 years. It'll start in Stockholm in May before she plays 5 dates in the UK this spring. Tickets go on sale tomorrow.
If you're feeling confused by all the cost of living pressures, you're not the only one.
We are constantly bombarded with products. What are the facts behind the fads?
BBC Sounds has podcasts for clarity, help, or an escape.
What's your thoughts on heating the person, not the room? It's a really good solution.
From sliced bread,
I'm glad I could help a little bit,
to understand the economy. Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport
with Steve Crossman.
The sounds of a relaxed Old Trafford. They always knew they were likely to go through in the League Cup semi-final, but they've done it on the night by 2-0. Manchester United beat Nottingham Forest 5-0 on aggregate. Ali Bruce Ball inside the stadium for us. Ali, control is the word, isn't it?
Yeah, Eric Ten Hag assured us in the week in his programme notes ahead of the game there would be no complacency from Manchester United. They needed to do a professional job. They just needed to keep the level of performance they've been showing for the majority of the season under Ten Hag, and that's exactly what they produced. He tinkered with the lineup just a little bit. David De Gea and Marcus Rashford, a couple of key men who got a rest. They were sitting on the bench though, along with Anthony Martial and Jadon Sancho, who we saw back in action in the second half, which was great to see. And actually the triple change from Manchester United when Rashford, Martial and Sancho came on midway through that second half actually really made the difference. Manchester United stepped it up a gear and got their goals late through Martial and through Fred on the score sheet again, as he was against Reading in the FA Cup at the weekend. Nottingham Forest had their chances, Steve, in the first half. Brennan Johnson threw on goal, shot straight at Tom Heaton. Sam Surridge rather unluckily got in the way of an Emmanuel Dennis effort. At the other end, just before half-time, Wout Weghorst had a header against the post. But I think we all knew what we were watching. Manchester United, produced the form that we have seen from them consistently this season. They were too good for Nottingham Forest. They really came on strong in the second half and thoroughly deserve their place in what looks like a really interesting, exciting League Cup final against Newcastle.
Yeah, absolutely. James McFadden is alongside Ali inside Old Trafford. And James, 5-0 on aggregate. It looks bad on paper. It sounds bad when you say it. and without wishing to be patronising at all to Nottingham Forest, that's no disgrace against a Manchester United team who've become a very, very good outfit.
No, it's not. I think, tonight, based on tonight, the performance levels, the professionalism, the respect they showed Nottingham Forest, it tells you that Nottingham Forest had to be at their very best, and it's not that they didn't play well, but Man United thoroughly deserved a 2-0. It could have been more. They had so much control. Some of their play was outstanding, and it is difficult to live with that, because they didn't give Nottingham Forest any encouragement. First half, Brennan Johnson has a really good chance. I think he should do better. And Dennis as well, with his chance, he's really unfortunate for it to bounce off of Sam Surridge. But apart from that, Man United were so controlled in their possession. The moments when to flip from defence to attack or just up the tempo, Nottingham Forest just couldn't live with it, and it's no disgrace. I mean, it does sound bad when you say 5-0 over 2 legs, but it's no disgrace for Nottingham Forest. Their players went over to the crowd at the end of the game. They got a brilliant reception because they'd given everything. It just wasn't good enough, and it was never going to be, because Man United were that good that Nottingham Forest couldn't win the game with the way that Man United played.